All you have to do is dial in toll-free, and the number for you is 855-450-FREE like freedom. Or you can do it the Discord way, which is the way you'll sound almost like you're sitting in the studio here with us.
Unless you've got a horrible connection. Yeah, we had somebody last night. Yeah,
don't upload any files on your internet while you're connected to our Discord. Otherwise, that is likely to kill some. So if you get like a torrent running or something like that, that'll probably kill it. But anyway, most of the time Discord sounds pretty great. So you can go to discord.lrn.fm. We have 3 different Discord call-in line rooms available for you there. Plus, there's the ongoing Discord chats about various different topics, including the Free Talk Live channel, which is the best place to be during the show's live hours, which are now 7 to 10 Eastern Time every single night. Now, on Friday nights, normally it's you and I, Darryl, and Chris Wade joining us from Think Penguin. He is off at another hacker conference, I believe, out in Vegas.
Yes.
What is it? It's not Hope. It's the other one. DEF CON, I think it is. Yeah, so he's there, and we happen to have a special guest host who's come almost as far, actually, as going out to Vegas. He's from St. George, Utah, and Riley Blake is with us here. Hey, Riley.
Hey, I am glad to be on Free Talk Live. I've listened to Free Talk Live for about 3 years. Started doing the Free Talk Live Digest a couple years ago. I love radio. Radio is just a medium that I really enjoy.
Well, you were telling me this afternoon as we were driving around beautiful Keene, New Hampshire, that you actually discovered...
You were showing him the sights?
The smells and the sounds. Yeah.
Yep.
And it was interesting. He commented that it seems a lot cooler and nicer here in general. A lot more trees, you could tell, because of the shade everywhere. For those that don't know, Riley's blind. And so you were telling me that you actually found the show originally when we had a radio affiliate there in St. George, Utah, KZNU, and that you found us originally on the radio first.
Oh yeah, and I found you on the radio and started listening to the podcast because I really loved the show.
I think that's great, and it's nice when we actually hear about that. I mean, we know it happens, obviously, that our radio listeners will kind of convert over and become podcast listeners. Not that that's something we try to accomplish. We want people to be able to listen wherever's convenient. So if listening on the radio is the most convenient for you, please listen to our great radio affiliates. We appreciate the 189 of them across the country that air our show at various different times throughout the week. But if you aren't able to listen live, and most of our stations are taking the show live, then the podcast and audio archives are certainly the way to go.
And then some of those stations might only carry some of the weekend programming.
Sure, or maybe an hour a night or something
We're
like that.
Live every night of the week, so you want to catch all of the shows, you've got to listen to the podcast in some situations.
But if you are time challenged, as many of our listeners are, I mean, we do a 3-hour radio show, which when you boil down all the boil out all the commercial breaks and the news breaks, it basically comes down to 2 solid hours of talk content every night on our podcast feed. Not everybody's got a 2-hour commute. They don't necessarily, or 1 hour one way and then another hour back. They don't necessarily have that. So if you're time challenged and you want a shorter version, Riley stepped up to create the Daily Digest, which is usually 20-30 minutes of essentially kind of like the highlight reel that you decide, Riley, what the best parts of Free Talk Live from the previous night were, and you put that out, and we host it officially on our Free Talk Live podcast. So the people who subscribe to our full podcast feed, and there are versions of the feed which is just one or the other, where you can have just the Daily Digest or just the full show. But if you're subscribing to the full feed, you get the choice. Maybe you're in a hurry today, but not tomorrow. You want to listen to the full show tomorrow, but not the full show today.
We love freedom and we love choice. That's why the Digest is a great idea.
Yeah, and it's been more than a year now? How long have you been?
It's been a little over 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah. I'm dedicated to the show.
I appreciate it, man. And now here you are. Of course, donation options are there in every Digest description, in all the description, the text of it. If you want to send Riley some cryptocurrency, I believe there are crypto links in there. I don't know. Did you put a PayPal link in there or something?
I don't have a PayPal link. I will have to create one.
So you're doing crypto only for the moment, but if you change that up, just let me know and I'll update that as we go about it. So Riley's joining us for the whole show here tonight, and it may not be the last time we hear from him because he's sticking around in the Keene area for what I would call an extended vacation. What, about 2 weeks? Just under?
Yeah, just under 2 weeks.
Days,
I'll be
like
here 11 days till August 20th.
Cool. And it's a nice warm time to be in Keene. You said it's actually a little cooler here than it is out in the 100-plus desert, arid, dry desert of
Well, that's a dry
Utah.
heat. It's like, opening the oven on your face.
It's not
still
as
doesn't sound
fun.
comfortable.
It's still very uncomfortable, though.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I definitely prefer to be a little bit cooler, although I can handle the heat because I'm originally from Florida.
Right.
So. Anyway, we're here. We'll take your calls about anything. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. Of course, Riley, you did bring in some things that we can talk about tonight, including a story about democratic socialism, which has been in the news. In fact, there was a story recently we covered on a weekend edition of Free Talk Live where the Associated Press was reporting on democratic socialism as though it was on the rise. And the numbers of the Democratic Socialist Party seem to show that they have, like other third parties in the United States, have seen a fairly large increase in their membership, although I would say maybe an even larger clip, it seems, as far as the percentage increase than, say, some of the other third parties like the Green Party or the Libertarian Party.
Right, and I'm not sure if the Democratic Socialist Party that you're talking about is the same thing as the DSA, the Democratic Socialist Alliance, that has members that are also members of other political parties. So the DSA is not in and of itself a political party, but it's an alliance of democratic socialists that belong to other parties. So there are some sitting members of Congress that are members of the DSA, but they're not elected as socialist per se. They're elected as Democrats.
Right. I know that it may or may not be the DSA that they reported on. I don't remember because I know there's a few different socialist parties, and there's like the Socialist
Workers'
Workers'
like half
Party.
a dozen at least.
So they're very fractured. But either way, they did show some of the membership numbers, and they were up by like 6 times or something over the last few years. So
yeah.
But still, relatively insignificant in total numbers. The story here from Barry Brownstein at the Foundation for Economic Education. He writes, while Venezuela continues to collapse into a living hell for all but Nicolas Maduro and ruling elites, support in America for democratic socialism continues to rise. Graphic reports such as the recent New York Times photo essay about starvation in Venezuela abound. And then they talk about the just a horrifying story, as there are so many out of Venezuela. Here's the excerpt from the Times. Kenyerber Aquino Marchan was 17 months old when he starved to death. His father...
That's just really horrible. You have a baby starving to death under a socialist system.
Yeah, I mean, that's an indicator that something's seriously wrong, right? When you've got children starving.
People have this idea that socialism is this great idea that will benefit the poor and the hungry and everyone else. But in reality, all it leaves people is hungry and poor.
Well, I mean, they would argue that...
it makes everybody equal.
Well,
equally
that's
poor.
Supposed,
yes,
right.
Equally poor, with the exception of the ruling elites that wind up living in fancy houses.
Okay, but wait, guys,
in areas that you can't go.
Sure, it's easy to pick on Venezuela. I mean, it is a hellscape. But what about Norway? I mean, what about some of these other countries which... They're not at all like Venezuela as far as people there are well-fed.
FEE actually had an article a couple days ago that these Nordic countries that people like Bernie point to as some kind of socialist paradise, they're not actually socialist.
No.
Well, then what are they? Because pretty much every country has socialist programs. Even the United States has, forced wealth redistribution and socialized medicine, not to the maximum, but it does have it.
But I don't think the United States is a socialist nation. I think Denmark and Norway have social welfare nets, but they're not socialist countries.
They don't self-describe as socialist?
No.
Okay.
No, it's only the people like Bernie that wind up saying, see, they're these socialist utopias because they have these expanded programs that they're actually getting away from because they're not bringing in all of the revenue that they used to bring in.
All right, we will continue on that. In fact, you've got a socialist-sounding program you wanted to talk about tonight, Darryl, the 4-day work week. Now, it's not necessarily socialist.
Oh, I don't think of that as socialism. I think of that as wonderful.
Really? Because a lot of the people on the left promote the 4-day work week. So let's talk about it coming up here, and more about dead babies in Venezuela.
She's such a beautiful little puppy. I mean, we walk around the block, and neighbors always say, her hair is so beautiful.
Healthy and shiny and glossy. DINOVITE.com.
Fatty acids, omega-3s, and omega-6s are great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
I would really recommend people starting their puppies on Dynavite before they get into what I would call the misery index. Bad skin, bad ears, bad breath.
Because if they're getting all their vitamins, micronutrients, microbials from the beginning, then you're not going to run into the problems associated with the allergies,
grass, pollen, dust, dirt, fleas, ticks, you name it,
and the itching and shedding down the road.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
Dynavite for life.
This is Ed Lukasevic
and Cindy Lukasevic,
inviting you and your pets to Dynavite.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 13,000 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed secure node systems of any cryptocurrency, and Zencash now has supernodes. Supernodes will advance the decentralization of the Zencash network and ensure the utility not only of Zencash as a currency, but also the future services that will be layered in the infrastructure. Learn more at zencash.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com. You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up what you want. Take control of the airwaves here. We're talking about democratic socialism. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we also have the Discord chat rooms, the Discord on-air call-in lines. And the other chat rooms are also there around the clock over at discord.lrn.fm. So if you want to sound like you're in the studio with us, join our Discord on-air call-in lines, and we will get you on the air to talk about what you want to discuss. Joining you here in the studio, I'm Ian. Also, we've got
Riley.
And Darryl.
And, of course, we will take your calls about anything. But, Riley, you brought in this story from the Foundation for Economic Education, who I would say has some of the best opinion pieces.
I agree. They are definitely the best, especially when it comes to economics.
They're right. They certainly know their stuff with economics, and they have a really good way of communicating economic ideas to people who are reading the articles. And so one of the ways to look at how economics can be screwed with and have disastrous consequences is, of course, Venezuela, which we've been covering in some detail here on Free Talk Live. And by the way, Darryl, I did see the video that I don't know if you'd referenced the fact that there was a video the other night, but you talked about Maduro claiming there was an attack against him. Did you see the actual video from that?
You're talking about the supposed assassination attempt.
Yeah.
I did not see the video.
Yeah, so I saw that last night because I was scrolling in the show prep group on our Discord chat, and somebody had dropped that video in there. Now, there's not an actual attack against Maduro. There's nothing, that you see happen with that in the video. He's speaking at some kind of rally that looks a lot like a North Korean rally, right? Like you've got the wide shot, because it's all state media,
right?
And so you've got there's a wide shot of the main drag or whatever street they're on with a bunch of marching kind of band looking people, but it's not, it's military. It's not marching bands.
Right.
It's military formations. And, they're all lined up and they look just like you. I could have sworn I was watching a feed from North Korean state television. That's how similar it was. So Maduro, the president of Venezuela, is speaking. He's speaking in Spanish. He's on some stage surrounded by, military brass. And at some point you hear a noise and people they look up. And it completely interrupts his speech. The people around him start to kind of break their formation, and some of them are kind of ducking away or going away, and he kind of stares, and then whoever's running the board of the cameras switches away from the Maduro shot to a wide shot, or actually he switches to a shot of one of the soldiers, and the soldier kind of looks up, and then he realizes, I think the soldier's looking up at a feed and noticing that he's on the feed, and he just tries to kind of not react to whatever it is that's going on.
Right.
And then the feed cuts to a wide shot of showing the street and after several seconds of the wide shot in the street, there's an entire throng of soldiers that just sort of scatters at one point, and it's not clear from what they are scattering. You don't actually see an explosion or whatever. But this is the ostensible drone strike that you had referenced on the air.
Had also been reported by some members of the Venezuelan National Guard as some kind of gas explosion from inside the apartment building that was nearby.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. From the video, you can't say for sure what it was.
Right, and it's one of those things to where nobody is really ever going to say this is exactly what it was. You've just got conflicting reports.
Right, and it's got to be hard to get any actual data from Venezuela because the government is so oppressive there.
Exactly.
And it's state-run media.
It's better there than North Korea.
Right.
The people in Venezuela actually do have internet access of some sort.
Right.
It is state-run internet, but they do still have that, unlike in North Korea where there is no, as I understand it, there's no official way for the average person to get online. So there are ways to get information. Now, that's how the Dollar Today folks, the people who are based in the United States, are able to pinpoint at any given day what the price of the bolivar is on the black market in Venezuela, because they've got people there who are telling them what they're selling and buying bolivar for, which last time we checked was 3.5 million or 3.8 million, I think, bolivar to $1. And the inflation rate continues to worsen there. So let's get back to the dead babies. Kenyerber Aquino Merchan was 17 months old when he starved to death. This according to the New York Times photo essay about starvation in Venezuela. His father left before dawn to bring him home from the hospital morgue. He carried Kenyerber's skeletal frame into the kitchen and handed it to a mortuary worker who makes house calls for Venezuelan families with no money for funerals. Kenyerber's spine and rib cage protruded as the embalming chemicals were injected. Relatives cut out a pair of cardboard wings from one of the empty white ration boxes that families increasingly depend on amid the food shortages and soaring food prices throttling the nation. They gently placed the tiny wings on top of Ken Yerber's coffin to help his soul reach heaven, a tradition when a baby dies in Venezuela. His father, Carlos, a 37-year-old construction worker, began to weep uncontrollably. "How can this be?" he cried, hugging the coffin and speaking softly as if to comfort his son in death, saying, quote, "Your papa will never see you again."
That's got to be hard for a parent to lose a child so early. I mean...
All right, you're not supposed to lose your children, right? Like, you're supposed to go first, not the child.
Exactly. And when you have a system like it's going on in Venezuela that's broken and babies are dying, parents are going to have to deal with this tragedy.
Until things turn around, and don't expect that to happen anytime soon. The president of Venezuela has admitted some level of fault for the economic situation there, but of course his solution isn't to allow the market to operate and, make things better on its own. His solution is to try to sell more oil. That's somehow going to...
Good luck with that. I mean, you're going to flood the market, and I think Darryl pointed out on the Wednesday show, if Venezuela floods the oil market, the prices of oil are going to go down. So, they'll be selling oil, but at the same time...
But they'll make less per barrel.
Exactly.
How are they even going to sell it? We talked about the problem of them not even being able to get things onto boats because all of their equipment for the docks was repoed.
If you're inclined to believe this is an isolated incident, reporters Meredith Kohut, this is back to FEE, the Foundation for Economic Education, the reporters Meredith Kohut and Icien Herrera disabuse you of your ignorance. Quote, "Hunger has stalked Venezuela for years. Now it's killing the nation's children at an alarming rate, doctors in the country's public hospitals say." Unquote. With reports like these, one wonders how support for socialism in America can be growing. If some Americans... Well, first of all, people don't know what's going on in Venezuela. I mean, if they happen to read this New York Times article, okay, well, then they'll be informed that there's some starvation going on there. But most people don't pay attention to the news on foreign, international headlines.
Most people don't pay attention to news going on
in their own
on
town.
the other side of the country.
Right.
What's going on in their town? What's going on the other side of their town? How many people would be able to, explain or even mention some of the forest fires happening in California, Montana, Idaho, Utah, Colorado, basically everywhere out west this time of year, there's a bunch of fires.
Yeah, and people, you can talk to them about pop culture, and they'll be happy to tell you all about it. But when it comes to news events, they're pretty ignorant. They're just like, what?
Oh, one of those Kardashians did that thing.
They know who J-Lo is, with right now. Or I guess J-Lo's not a thing anymore now, right? Now it's Drake or something like that.
Who knows?
I think J-Lo's still a thing.
I don't know.
I think she's a judge on one of those singing shows.
Oh, yeah, there you go. All right, so there's more coming up here in moments. Well, how can support for socialism be growing? That's what they're going to look at here. And we're going to share it with you. And, of course, you can share your thoughts with us on anything. This is Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
This is Jessica Armand, founder of My Magic Mud. Our team helped organize a successful effort to remove fluoride from our city's water supply. This is our passion. My Magic Mud Oral Care purifies and brightens your smile naturally. GCN listeners, please support my family business by purchasing our products from your local health food store. We're also available at CVS Pharmacy, or visit us at mymagicmud.com and take 10% off now with coupon code GCN10.
A report released Tuesday by physicists at Stanford University revealed that the entire known universe, from the whole of human civilization to the totality of matter and energy, is actually the fictional setting of a cop show called Hard Case. According to authors of the report, existence as we know it was created solely to provide the framework for the primetime drama that airs weekly in a parallel universe, and that every historical event prior to the show's September 2008 pilot, including the Renaissance, World War II, evolution, the September 11th attacks, and the presidential administrations of Washington through Clinton, never actually happened and are merely part of the elaborate backstory crafted by Hard Case creator and showrunner Dominic Egan.
We used to believe that our universe operated under immutable laws of thermodynamics and gravitational relativity, but now we know everything just comes from the minds of Hard Case's 12 staff writers. Overall, it seems like a very well-written show.
Physicists have theorized that the universe as we know it will cease to exist whenever Hard Case airs its final episode.
This is the Onion News Network.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial in toll free 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You can also join us on our Discord. We've got on-air call-in line rooms there waiting for you. If you want to sound like you're sitting in the studio here with us, you can join us that way at discord.lrn.fm. And I want to make sure you know about Zencash. In fact, can we talk about the giveaways? Darryl, can we break that news?
Well, you've already kind of mentioned it.
I haven't said when, because I don't know exactly when. I don't know when that's going to happen, but it's a done deal, right?
There
it's
are going to be some giveaways over the next 13 weeks.
Yeah, some of them are going to be on the air. Some of them aren't going to be on the air.
Correct.
So you might want to get on our email list over at freetalklive.com. That might be a way that you could win some Zencash. Zencash is, of course, a cryptocurrency started in 2017.
About a year ago.
Yeah, by voluntarists, by people that actually agree with freedom, that understand good economics, that understand good technology as well, because they built in some of the best tech into Zencash, specifically zero-knowledge anonymity. It's a privacy coin. So you can use Zencash in a private way if you wish, and it's got over 13,000 secure nodes.
I got an email earlier today. Mm-hmm. There are over 17,000 nodes total between the secure nodes and the super nodes.
Oh, wow.
That's a lot of distribution over a network.
Yes.
It is. In fact, that may make it number one.
The email says Zencash is now the largest node network with over 17,000 nodes, and they have a graphical breakdown of secure and super.
Wow. How many super nodes are there?
Let me make this a little bit larger. It looks like about 2,000 super nodes, somewhere around 2,000.
I gotta get in. I gotta get in on that because it's on my list of things to do. I just haven't done it yet. Supernodes will advance the decentralization of the Zencash network and ensure the utility not only of Zencash as a currency, but also the future services that'll be layered in the infrastructure. They've got some cool ideas on the horizon there with Zencash, and the supernodes are going to be a step in that direction. So check it out. Learn more over at zencash.com. You can get the official Zencash wallet. And, of course, you're going to need a Zencash wallet if you're the giveaway winner. So you should probably go and set that up now over at zencash.com. They've got it available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Of course, if you've already got Koinomi installed, it also accepts Zencash, but you can't use private sending with a Koinomi wallet. So keep that in mind.
Yes.
Zencash.com as we continue here, and we'll let you know more on the...
For the giveaways, you will need the transparent address.
The public.
Yes.
Yeah, address. Which you can also get with their official wallet at zencash.com. So, and we'll tell you more about the giveaways as they become more all settled.
To be able to use the shielded stuff, you need to be running that on a computer just because it uses so much memory.
Okay.
You can't do those from one of the mobile wallets.
Good to know. Thank you for that. So Zencash.com, as we continue here, the story from the Foundation for Economic Education talking about socialism in America. And the article here is wondering aloud with the horrific reports coming out of Venezuela. In this case, we talked about some dead children from starvation. How can support for socialism in America be growing? If some Americans are economically illiterate and ahistorical, that would explain their support. So, for instance, young people tend to be more likely, I think, to support socialism. People like, let's say, college age or high school age.
Right.
They've been told that it's a wonderful thing, and they haven't been around long enough to see otherwise.
They're told that they get free stuff. They're told that, you're going to get free college if we have socialism.
Right.
You're going to get free health care if there's socialism. You're going to get free whatever. And, I like free stuff. Who doesn't like free stuff? But at what price? What price are we getting this free stuff? Who is going to create this free stuff?
Well, there's no such thing as a free lunch, right? And,
well, there
students are concerned with that.
But if you're in Mountain View, California, you can't get that from your employer.
That's true. You talked about that on Wednesday night.
Wednesday night.
Yeah,
and there's a wrestling podcast that I listen to where the guy that's the host is a pro wrestler, and he got injured in a match recently. He's British, and it shattered his collarbone. And apparently, the National Health Service there in Britain doesn't want to do the surgery for him because reasons.
Well, he should have known better. He was wrestling. He shouldn't. Why should the taxpayer have to pick up the bill for somebody who's just going around throwing themselves all over the place and possibly going to injure themselves?
Well, one of the problems is they've basically prohibited private insurance.
Okay, right.
So the only way to wind up, and this is the problem with a socialist medical system, is you're prohibited from having your own insurance plan that would cover you in these sorts of injuries.
Well, he can just go to the United States and have it done there. He can afford that, right? So why should the taxpayer have to pick it up?
Oh, I'm not saying that the taxpayer should have to pick it up. I'm pointing out the problem of socialist healthcare.
Sure, and I'm explaining, sort of the triage isn't the right word, but the death panels, basically, where they have a group of bureaucrats.
That's essentially triage.
They have a group of bureaucrats deciding who gets the health care and who doesn't, because it's free, but only if you're actually given the health care.
It's limited and restricted, and we determine who qualifies, this and that.
So they could easily just say, well, look, if we determine that you are out there just throwing yourself about and possibly subjecting yourself to unnecessary danger, we're not going to cover that.
You got to love those bureaucrats who get to decide who lives and who dies or who gets treatment, don't you?
Indeed. So back to the story here from the Foundation for Economic Education. It says here that if they have mistakenly identified Scandinavian countries as socialist, that would also offer an explanation. That's the article you're referring to, Darryl, because I think they link to it here,
Yes.
and we can talk more about that. This idea that the Scandinavian nations, Norway, Finland,
specifically Sweden,
that these are socialist places. They are going to try to disabuse us of that here in a moment. But perhaps people seeking more meaning in their lives and being part of a mass movement fills a void. Some students have admitted to me they value being able to exercise power over others. Perhaps they see socialism as a means to acquire power. These may be some of the explanations for increasing support for democratic socialism, and yet there is another factor at work. Americans are increasingly allowing their thinking to be influenced by logical fallacies. Charlie Munger is the vice chairman of Berkshire Hathaway, the legendary conglomerate that he controls with Warren Buffett. In a speech at Harvard University about human misjudgment, Munger tells of a surgeon who removed, quote, bushel baskets full of normal gallbladders, unquote, and continued maiming patients for 5 years past the point he should have been removed. Munger was curious. Was the doctor motivated by greed? He was surprised to learn the maiming doctor loved his patients and was motivated by good intentions. Munger sought insight from a doctor who'd been involved in the surgeon's removal. Quote, I said, tell me, did they think, here's a way for me to exercise my talents? This guy was very skilled technically, and to make a high living by doing few maimings and murders every year along with some frauds? And he said, hell no, Charlie. He thought that the gallbladder was the source of all medical evil, and if you really love your patients, you couldn't get that organ out rapidly enough. Unquote. For the surgeon's patients, his good intentions were of little comfort. When doctors of the ailing George Washington bled him, they were motivated by good intentions.
We're trying to help the president. We got to bleed him to death. Yeah,
their unscientific medical practice arguably hastened Washington's death. I can't say I knew anything about George Washington's death and being bled out by doctors at the time.
I didn't know that had anything to do with his death.
Politicians who trust their seat-of-the-pants good intentions inevitably become authoritarians. They are relying on the limits of their error-prone minds and not on proven principles that promote human flourishing. Those who rely on their good intentions to guide their actions are arrogant rather than humble. They have little respect or understanding for, as Hayek put it in his essay, Individualism, True or False, the, quote, spontaneous collaboration of free men that often creates things which are greater than their individual minds can ever fully comprehend. And that's, one way of looking at the creation of wealth. We talk about intellectual property here on Free Talk Live, and Darryl, you and I are against intellectual property.
Correct.
I don't know about you, Riley.
We can get into that discussion, but I'm kind of divided on the issue. Intellectual property is kind of a divisive issue.
So to me, it relates here because if you're free, then you should be free to use other people's ideas. And if you're not free to use those ideas, that restricts the things that can be created, because all things that are created are usually a combination of a idea and maybe like natural resources or another idea.
You can't say that sentence. Somebody else already said it.
There's more coming up here in moments. You can join us on Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops. Get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
It's been said, any society is only 3 missed meals away from chaos. Those times may be near. Think about it. Our country faces multiple terrorist threats and aggressions from Russia and North Korea. Social unrest and violent marches yet again may lead to looting of stores and city shutdowns. And our crumbling infrastructure leaves our power grid vulnerable to long-term outages from a single cyber attack. When the chaos from any one of these threats arises, the government knows it can't provide during a widespread national emergency. That's why you need your own plan for self-reliance. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. Get a 4-week survival food supply for only $99. That includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Order online at preparewithgcn.com. $99 for 4 weeks of survival food that tastes like homemade cooking and lasts up to 25 years from My Patriot Supply. Get your kits today at preparewithgcn.com. Free shipping is included. preparewithgcn.com.
The Shire Free Church offers a sanctuary to those seeking an escape from state churches.
The Shire Free Church is an interfaith, diverse group of people that may not share identical theological beliefs. As a member in or minister of the Shire Free Church, you are a sovereign individual and may be the faith of your choice.
We don't claim to have all of the answers.
We are open to all peaceful people.
We want to learn from each other.
What unifies the Shire Free Church and its diverse members is peace,
love, and liberty. There are many paths to God, one for every individual.
The Shire Free Church does not define a specific path beyond those parameters that must be your foundation.
Peace as your way,
love as your guide,
and liberty as your light.
Learn more at church.shiresociety.com.
That's church.shiresociety.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free, take control of the airwaves, bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number here is 855-450, free like freedom, 855-450-3733. Also, we got the Discord on-air call-in lines, which are open and available to you. Go to discord.lrn.fm, and it's a lot easier if you have the Discord app installed, which is a great app for chatting with other Free Talk Live listeners on our chat service, which is called Discord. Once again, it's discord.lrn.fm. Liberty.menu. If you are an individual who rejects the initiation of force and agrees to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle, you qualify to use Liberty.menu. It is a website that is free to get on and to put whatever it is that you do on the site. It's basically a libertarian business directory. They also have events listings and digital content listings as well. So whatever it is that you are a creator of, whether, again, it be a business or content or whatever you do, you can put it up there for free and have other liberty-minded folks see it, and then maybe you'll get some new business. Maybe there's some money, some business that was on the table that you didn't know was there. And the only way you're going to find out is if other people know about you. So why not get some free exposure over at liberty.menu? And you can pay for some upgrades if you want, but it's basic level, totally free to add whatever you want. More than one item you can add up there over at liberty.menu. So head over there, and if you want, you can use code FTL like Free Talk Live and get a special badge to identify you on the site, because there is a bit of a social bookmarking or social networking aspect to the site as well. And of course, ratings and reviews at liberty.menu. As we continue here talking about the article from the Foundation for Economic Education about democratic socialism and why, despite all the terrifying news coming out of places like, Venezuela and North Korea, why people are supporting socialism in America.
Yeah, and I think part of it is kind of a lack of understanding of exactly what socialism is. And Riley touched on this earlier, to where they're being told, you get free stuff. You get free health care, asterisks that is dependent upon some bureaucracy determining that you actually need said health care. You get free college, asterisks. Your college education might actually wind up being worthless, which is why everybody gets free high school that at one time was good enough to wind up getting people jobs in some fairly decent field. Now everybody, quote unquote, needs a bachelor's degree. Well, when everybody has a bachelor's degree, it's going to wind up being worthless as well.
Exactly, and because the market is being flooded with degrees that people either get grants, student loans. They get it cheaply. And when you flood the market with degrees, the degree is worthless. I think the most important thing to have is a skill like, I don't know, audio production or welding or a trade. A good trade would help you go a long way.
Right, and you mentioned student loans. There was a story came out yesterday, I think it was. Could have been Wednesday, that student loan debt in the United States is now up to $1.52 trillion.
Oh, wow. That's intense.
Yeah.
Glad I don't have any of that stuff.
Me too.
You don't either, right, Darryl?
No.
Okay. So if you want to join us here, toll-free number 855-450-FREE. Let's go on here with the Foundation for Economic Education talking about these authoritarian politicians who just trust their good intentions. Oh, well, I support free things for everybody.
I just want to help everybody out. I'm doing great here. This is fantastic.
They don't see the economic destruction that their policies cause. They don't understand the economic destruction. All they see, of course, this goes back to the concept of the seen and the unseen, which is also an economic thing, where it's easy for them to see, oh, look here, there's this sick person who got some health care. Great. And there are people who do need help, who get helped by the government forced wealth redistribution system. That happens.
Right. But then you have other people that wind up being told for various reasons, yeah, you don't qualify to wind up having that shoulder reconstruction surgery that you need.
Well, then also, how about the other real unseen parts of the economic destruction that goes on? Because bureaucracy is very, bureaucratic. It's inefficient, it's stupid, it's slow, it's awful generally, and it's very costly in comparison to the marketplace where competition brings prices down. And so what you don't see is the tremendous tax burden that is taking away wealth from the average individual, paying for all this so-called free health care.
Right.
What you don't see is what all the individuals who had that wealth stolen from them by governments, how they would have spent that money.
Right.
What charities would they have donated the money to if they had enough? What would they do to take care of their own families and sick people within their own families and people within their neighborhoods and their regions, donating to various different efforts? You don't get to see any of that because that wealth was redirected into this stupid bureaucratic program where most of it is pissed away in bureaucratic costs to the middle management of that particular bureaucracy.
And if people had more money to work with, they could pay for their own health care. They could find ways to fund programs. Not necessarily government programs, but programs to help disabled people.
Voluntary programs. Like, there's, and these things exist today. It's just they would likely have more funding and there would be more of them. So like the Shriners take care of burn victims and, there's other groups.
St. Jude.
Yeah, St. Jude Children's.
They never give a bill to anybody that they treat.
Right, or the Make-A-Wish Foundation for the sick kids and, giving them their last wish for terminally ill kids. So there would be more of those choices in the marketplace, and they would be competing, on the basis of efficiency and how good they are at helping people with other charities.
And then you wouldn't have problems of 93-year-old retired pastors getting arrested for trying to give a homeless person some food. You wouldn't have food not bombs repeatedly having members get arrested in Orlando for trying to feed homeless people. There's all the time people say, well, if the market's so good, why aren't you doing fill in the blank thing now? Well, here's the people that are trying it and they're getting arrested.
The government has this monopoly on it. The government has taken over charities. The government has basically made these things so hard to do.
They've literally forbidden
Right, and you have to get
in some
stupid
areas.
permits to even do these things.
Right. And nobody should have to ask permission to help somebody on public land, and certainly not on private land. If it's their own private land, they got permission to be there. Let's go on, though, from Foundation for Economic Education here. When Hugo Chavez, the father of Venezuela's current nightmare, passed in 2013, meaning passed on, President Carter praised Chavez's bold leadership, saying, quote, "We came to know a man who expressed a vision to bring profound changes to his country to benefit especially those people who had felt neglected and marginalized," unquote. Carter never doubted Chavez's good intentions. Indeed, Carter offered those intentions as exculpatory evidence, excusing Chavez's brutality. He said, quote, "Although we have not agreed with all the methods followed by his government, we have never doubted Hugo Chavez's commitment to improving the lives of millions of his fellow countrymen." Well, whatever level of commitment these people have is, proven pointless by the evidence.
Right.
If you're committed to actually helping people, then you should look at the evidence and say, this isn't working. Let's try something different.
Right.
Or if you're committed to helping people, maybe you should actually help them yourself instead of robbing other people.
Well, he doesn't know any other way, right? Like to him, this is not just to him, but to a lot of people, government is a legitimate method of helping people. It's a crappy one, and many people will admit that, but they'll feel like, well, we have to have it.
Of course they think it's a good way to help people because it's the only thing they know. It's the only way they've known how to live. They haven't learned what it's like to help somebody without a robbing entity stepping in to save the day.
Well, they may have. I mean, many of the people in government do volunteer at, charities, and they try to help with local charities. That definitely happens.
Sure.
But they don't see the violence that's associated with the government, or they don't acknowledge it as violence. They just sort of accept it as, well, it's the price you pay to live in a civilized society. Let's go to your calls and thoughts here. Matthew's in Louisiana, listening online via YouTube. Go ahead, Matthew.
Hey, one of your state senators, Greg Daniels, I believe was his name, was down here talking about the great things going on in New Hampshire. Looks like y'all will be getting right to work the next legislative session, which should bump y'all up from the number 17 in rich states versus poor states category. And he was talking about a major manufacturer, Sig Sauer, looking to expand, and he managed to talk them into staying in New Hampshire, in spite of the fact that apparently y'all have an electric rate problem, and he was all
the utility prices are kind of high here in New Hampshire, which is part of the reason that Sig Sauer had said that they were going to go elsewhere.
Didn't you used to work for them?
No.
Okay, you did work for some gun manufacturer. Okay, gotcha. Hey, Matthew, if you've got more to say, hang on here. That's strange that a New Hampshire senator would go down to the state of Louisiana to speak about those things, but
probably some kind of conference.
We'll continue here, and you can share your thoughts. You can bring up what you want. More on socialism coming up, 855-450 free. If you want to join us, Free Talk Live.
Have you experienced the miracle of CBDs? They can help you reduce suffering, reduce stress, help you sleep better, modulate inflammation in the body, and is absolutely safe. Meta Hemp Solutions offers a radically innovative approach to CBDs for exceptional results. Stop suffering and reduce your stress now. Isn't it time for a good night's sleep? Stop worrying about tomorrow today. Lab tested for potency, purity, and is non-psychoactive. Free shipping to all 50 states. Try our product risk-free, money-back guarantee. Use code GCN15 to get 15% off. That's code GCN15 to get 15% off. Offer ends soon, so visit MetaHemp Solutions today at metahempsolutions.com or call 833-858-7500. Suffer no more. Get rid of the stress and sleep better. Get our product now at metahempsolutions.com. That's metahempsolutions.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, August 10th, 2018. Silver is trading at $15.40 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,214 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $21, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,499. Antiwar.com reports with Congress flat out refusing to fund the plan in the 2019 military spending bill, the Trump administration is continuing to insist that they intend to create a new sixth branch of the military called the Space Force by 2020. Vice President Mike Pence set out on Thursday saying that it was the next great chapter in the history of our armed forces and prepare for the next battlefield of America's wars, which apparently will be in space. Pence addressed the lack of congressional approval, saying that the Space Force will not be built from scratch just yet, but rather will see an increased centralization of the existing Space Command, which is part of the Air Force, while establishing more space-centric agencies and forces to fill out what eventually will become the Space Force if and when it is approved by Congress. Trump had previously claimed Space Force would be separate but equal to the Air Force and would ensure total U.S. dominance over space into the future. He has insisted he believes space is a place where a lot of stuff is happening. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake's security company has seen better days. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. But at what cost? Will anybody care? And can anyone stop him? Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. UPI reports the average amount of individual student loan debt owned by U.S. college students increased by more than $300 in 2017, according to a study by Lend.edu. The New Jersey-based online loan marketplace's annual student loan debt by school by state report found the average debt per borrower for the class of 2017 was $28,288, up $313 from $27,975 in 2016. Lend.edu said on Wednesday student loan debt in the U.S. continues to be an issue of the utmost importance. The total outstanding student loan debt now stands at $1.52 trillion, making it the second largest form of consumer debt behind only mortgages. The annual report uses data from the Peterson's Financial Aid Survey, which collects responses from 1,080 four-year public and private institutions to determine average individual student loan debt figures and rank states and colleges in terms of debt per borrower. Pennsylvania had the highest student loan debt per borrower at $36,193, up from 2016, when it was also the state where college graduates paid back the highest debt at $35,185. The state was home to 6 of the nation's top 10 public colleges with the highest average student debt. Are you looking for a cryptocurrency that has a focus on users and usability? Then look into Zencash. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com. Reuters reports a federal judge on Thursday ordered an immigrant mother and daughter brought back to the United States after learning during a court hearing that the government had put them on a deportation flight to El Salvador. The pair were among 12 plaintiffs in a lawsuit brought by the American Civil Liberties Union challenging changes in asylum policies ordered by U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions. Washington, D.C. District Court Judge Emmett Sullivan was hearing a request to stay the plaintiffs' deportations when the ACLU learned that 2 of them were already on a flight to Central America. Upon hearing the news, News, Sullivan ordered their flight returned and suggested that Sessions could be held in contempt of court, according to the ACLU. An official from the Department of Homeland Security sent an email statement that the agency is complying with the court's order, and upon arrival in El Salvador, the plaintiffs did not disembark and are currently en route back to the United States. During the hearing, the judge ordered a temporary stay on deporting the 9 women and 3 children who filed the suit, according to the court filing. The lawsuit was filed on Tuesday in the District of Columbia by the ACLU. It challenges a recent tightening on standards for seeking U.S. asylum, which makes it far more difficult for those fleeing domestic or gang violence to win the right to remain in the United States. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
A new Gallup poll found that the GOP has an overwhelming advantage among young people who look like old men. The poll shows Republicans hold a solid lead among the coveted elderly youth demographic, including 18 to 24-year-olds who wear suspenders and bow ties to class every day. I'm joined by Republican strategist Rob Powell. These are pretty encouraging numbers for the GOP, aren't they?
Yeah, of course, it's very encouraging. Millennials who look like they're permanently dressed for boat trips are a rapidly growing segment of the population.
And according to the survey, the prematurely aged are also very politically active.
Absolutely. Only about 20% of young people vote overall, but there's almost 100% turnout among youth that dress like a dad from a 1950s sitcom.
Now, what about the criticism that the GOP only appeals to white men?
Not true. We also have a lot of support among sorority girls that wear pantsuits and pearls, paunchy Chinese college students, and we're making inroads among African American ham radio enthusiasts.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. We're launching into the second hour of the program. As always, you're invited to join us on the radio waves. The toll-free number for you is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Also, we got Discord on-air call-in lines. There's 3 of them available to you. And you can sound like you're sitting here in the studio with us on our Discord server at discord.lrn.fm. The call-in lines are the top 3 channels. And there are other channels, too, where you can discuss either via text or there are voice channels even on the Discord server. And it's free to use, so it's a lot of fun to connect with some of the other listeners and hosts of Free Talk Live. So head over to discord.lrn.fm. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
Riley.
And Darryl.
Riley Blake's here with us from Utah. He is the producer of the Daily Digest version of Free Talk Live, which if you're a podcast subscriber, you are automatically given access to those daily digests. And I did mention at the beginning of the show that there are digest-only feeds, and also or a digest-only feed, and then there's also the full show feed. You can find both of those over at feeds.freetalklive.com. Should you wish to subscribe to the Daily Digest on its own, you can do that. Once again, feeds.freetalklive.com. It's like a 20-30 minute version.
Right. I do want to say for those who listen to the digest, while I'm here in New Hampshire, I'm probably not going to be keeping up with the digest as well as I normally do. So,
gotcha.
Be patient.
That's all right. You will get to them. All right. So you're gonna get caught up at some point. Yeah. That's what you're saying. All right. You'll probably have a little bit of downtime, and you do have your laptop here with you. And
I do.
Is that the computer on which you're normally editing those?
Yeah, that's the computer I use to record my podcast. It's the computer I use to edit the digest.
We didn't mention your podcast yet. It's anarchoagenda.libsyn.com. That's anarchoagenda.libsyn.com. You were telling me today you were over 70 episodes now.
Yep. And Anarcho Agenda is ANARCHO agenda.libsyn, LIBSYN. And I want to start taking the show in a slightly different direction. We can talk about that later in the show.
Cool. Let's get back to Matthew. He's on the line with us in Louisiana, listening on YouTube or watching on YouTube. Matthew, you were saying that there was some senator from New Hampshire, one of the state senators, had gone down to Louisiana.
Gary Daniels, I think it was.
And was talking about all kinds of things, and I guess you had some questions, or you wanted to relate to the story?
Well, what he had mentioned was that, and I don't know if he was being ironic when he mentioned this. This is on the Jeff Crouere Politics with a Punch show, and he had mentioned that the electricity rates being high was kind of surprising because y'all subsidize green energy up there. And I was thinking to myself, well, that's not really a surprise, because that is the least effective way of producing large amounts of electricity at the lowest cost possible.
I didn't know. I don't know a whole lot about the electrical situation here. I'm not aware of whatever subsidies exist. I don't doubt that some do, but I don't know at what levels or how that all factors in. I know they did several years ago. They did do some level of deregulation on the power. I think it's the supply, not the delivery. I think it's the supply side. So there's like two sides of the power bill here in New Hampshire, where one service is the supply of the power, the other service is the delivery of the power. And they took one of those sides and decentralized it, made it so that other companies could offer lower rates for that side of the service.
Right. And I know that there's something that's referred to as RGGI, that is the Regional Greenhouse something initiative, that's some kind of interstate compact that New Hampshire's entered into with all of the neighboring states. That's all I really know about it, is that it's a thing, it exists, and it's called RGGI. But
I knew a guy named Reggie. He could beat up anybody in elementary school.
Yeah, probably not the same Reggie.
Just a hint: if you want cheaper electricity, the way to get it is good old-fashioned heat conversion steam. Coal
Steam, huh?
or natural gas.
Okay.
Or you could burn rubber tires, but who wants to be downwind of that?
Yeah. Anything else you want to share tonight about your thoughts on New Hampshire?
No, I think y'all are doing pretty good. Y'all are like number 17 in the Rich State versus Poor State ALEC Conference, which is the American Legislative Exchange Council. And they're really smart people, so I guess you could call them smart Alex.
It's cute. Hey, Matthew, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it. The toll-free number, if you want to join us here, is 855-450-FREE like freedom.
Now, one thing that New Hampshire is at number 1 on is the Freedom in the 50 States rankings.
And that's why I'm here, because I want to be in the freest state in the United States. I think it's one of the best places to be when it comes to liberty, because
it sure is, yeah.
You guys are doing a lot of great work here promoting the ideas of liberty. You're pushing for more liberty in a state that still, it needs work because this is the Free State Project.
Right.
But you are moving toward more liberty, and that's important.
And in fact, I just actually got a letter yesterday or the day before with my endorsement from the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance. Darryl, you and I are both running as candidates in the election here in the Cheshire County, New Hampshire area, in this Monadnock region, as it's called. You're running as a state rep candidate as the Libertarian Party here in Keene, the city in which we are doing this show, and I'm doing the state Senate seat for District 10, so it's a larger area. But we both received an endorsement from the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance, and I was pleased to see that the Liberty Alliance, for those that don't know, this is a group of pretty libertarian folks who formed an activist group, a sort of political action activism group, more than a decade ago, I believe it was.
I think it's been about 15 years.
Maybe about 15 years, yeah.
Because I think it was formed just before New Hampshire was chosen as the destination state for the Free State Project.
Or thereabouts, yeah. So they have been, for years, have been rating all of the state representatives and state senators on their voting records. Now, we can quibble about which votes they're looking at, but still, they are looking at a bunch of votes, and they're coming out with what they call the Liberty Rankings, where they give basically a report card to 400 state representatives, because New Hampshire has a very large state legislature, and then 24 senators. And the good news was, in the letter that they sent with the endorsement, was they're tightening up their endorsement requirements, meaning that they're not just going to endorse as many people. They're going to make it so if you're a current state senator or a current state representative, you have to have at least a B+ on the Liberty Rankings now.
Okay, I think it used to be at least a B.
Yeah.
But most people, when they think of like a B rating, they're thinking, oh, so when I was in school, if I got like an 84, that was a B. If I got like an 88, that was a B+. Mm-hmm. Well, the way the NHLA does their things is they have much broader numbers that are involved in, say, an A+, to where, like what basically was a C in high school would still be a B from the NHLA.
Well, either way, it was nice to see that they were tightening up their requirements, which will mean that they're not going to be endorsing the less liberty-oriented candidates. And they also tightened up their score requirements on they send out questionnaires to all of the candidates. So obviously they know how the incumbents have been voting.
Right.
But candidates like you and I, Darryl, all they have to go on are the questionnaires that we fill out.
Correct.
And so they've also tightened up the requirements on that, and they will only endorse people who score above or 85% and above now. So it was good to see that happening, and that's an indicator that they're becoming more influential. People are, if they are more influential, and they are, and people are seeking their endorsement, well, then they've got to have the voting record to back it up. And, and who knows, maybe they're going to tighten it up to an A-, in the next couple of years. So I hope that they continue with that.
One thing that I thought was rather interesting, and not interesting enough to do some kind of full report on, the NHCLU, which is the New Hampshire affiliate of the ACLU, they came out with a scorecard for the first time this year.
Oh, yeah.
And the only state reps to wind up getting what I would consider to be like a B+ or higher, meaning high 80s, from both organizations were the Libertarians. The Republicans that got really high ratings from the NHLA wound up getting scores that were in the 30s, 40s, and below from the ACLU.
That's because the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance, as you pointed out, leaves out some what you would consider critical liberty issues.
Specifically things dealing with voting rights.
There's more coming up here in moments. Did they rank prostitution in the Liberty Alliance this year? I feel like they did.
I don't recall.
All right, well, they're pretty darn good, though, and there's more coming up here in moments. It's Free Talk Live.
This November, I'll be running the world's biggest and most popular marathon, the New York City Marathon, as a member of Team Innocence Project. The Innocence Project was the first legal organization to systematically apply DNA testing to cases of wrongful convictions as a powerful tool to reveal innocence. So far in 2018, the Innocence Network has welcomed 32 wrongfully convicted people home from prison for crimes they did not commit and had a record-breaking 850 people unite in Memphis at their annual conference. The movement of freeing the innocent and reforming the criminal justice system is growing and would not be possible without your support. Together as 68 network organizations around the world, they've helped exonerate 513 people who spent a combined total of 7,804 years in prison. They've also worked together to pass over 150 laws in the U.S. to help prevent wrongful convictions. You can support the Innocence Project by going to run.freetalklive.com. That's run.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. We invite you to join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well. Oh, wait, no, we don't. That was my first mess up. I messed up again. I've been messing up once
I need to go
night.
get that Skype jar.
Riley's got a walking stick. He could just cane me with it if you wanted to. But no, we don't have Skype anymore. It is crappy. They made it even worse than it has ever been, and so we dumped it earlier this week. Discord.lrn.fm is where you can go if you want to get a high-quality connection to the studio and sound almost like you're sitting here with us. Once again, check that out at discord.lrn.fm. And I do want you to know about Bitcoin.com. That is where you can go to learn the basics about cryptocurrency. Get started over at Bitcoin.com. Or maybe you already know the basics and you look at the latest news headlines. Well, they've got those too. Just go to news.bitcoin.com. They're updated every single day from around the planet. That's news.bitcoin.com. And there's so much more there. You can get your first Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash through the site. And you can even join the Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash mining pools that they have. So go and learn more and get started at Bitcoin.com. We go to Corey. He's calling from Utah. Corey, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian, Riley, and Darryl.
Hey, guys. Hey, Riley.
Hey, Corey.
Hey, Corey, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Riley invited me to listen in tonight, so I did.
Oh, okay.
Corey and I are pretty good friends.
Haven't listened to guys in about 4 or 5 years, actually. So,
oh, wow. Has it been that long since we've been on the radio in St. George? It probably has.
It's actually been a couple of years, so, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a few years now. I don't live in St. George anymore. I live in Salt Lake City.
Ah, gotcha.
I actually am calling in. I kind of with like a little personal experience, kind of want to discuss as you guys are going over
Please.
Student loan debt. I work for the largest student loan refinancer in the world.
Okay.
We refinance government student loans and private student loans at kind of a more affordable rate for most students.
Gotcha.
And it's my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, it's my understanding that private student loans are near impossible to actually get nowadays.
Depends on your. We don't actually give out student loans. We actually just refinance them. But from what I've understood, is that private student loans are easy to get if you go into the right fields. So if somebody goes into like the medical field where they can guarantee that they'll get paid back, they can get them a lot easier.
Okay.
If someone goes into a liberal arts degree, private student loans are way harder to get.
Okay.
That's because you can't make much money off of liberal arts degrees.
Yeah. And it's crazy though to work in this industry right now, and I on average see people on a regular basis. I see people who are in debt over 100,000. once they get out of school.
Yeah, that is like 4 times the average.
Is that when they're coming to you? Is as soon as they get out of school, they're like, I got to do something about this immediately, or do they, only really come in 5, 6, 10 years later? What's typical?
It's mostly people who are right now. Like it happens when they do get out of school. Mm-hmm. A lot of it's been when they get out of school. Sometimes it's when we're like, to be honest, my company's kind of picky on who they select in a lot of areas, and it can be a little picky in that area because you can't if they try to do it right out of school, they try to apply. A lot of the times they don't make enough money to actually qualify to refinance their student loans.
Wow.
And so that's just kind of how it goes. A lot of these people who get out of school, they're $65,000 in debt. I mean, even more, and $100,000 in debt, and they make $32,000 a year.
Wow. So because they got a student, or because they got a degree in some area in which they can't actually get a job, they're then relegated to working at as a barista or something like that, and they're not making the kind of money that they would need to qualify for a refi on their student loan. Is that what you're saying?
No, they don't in most cases. And it's kind of the thing that is having worked there now, like the experience I get a lot of the time is it's not the student loans that get you. People in a lot of ways can end up paying off their student loans. It's when they get out of school, what really happens is when they get people on an income-based repayment plan, which really just destroys you financially for the rest of your life.
What does that mean? Income-based repayment plan? Is that like child support?
This is what I wanted to go over. This is why this is the real reason. Like, having kind of gone into this, one of the major reasons that that student loan income, that debt is increasing. An income-based repayment plan doesn't give you a payment that doesn't cover all of the interest or it doesn't get you on a set schedule to pay off the loan. They get people on a payment that's like $35 or $100 or $150 a month set for these people who only make a certain amount a year for the rest of their lives, but the interest still accrues the same way.
So it's like the people that wind up paying the minimum balance on a credit card.
It's going to last forever.
They're never touching the principal.
Right. So it'll last for the rest of their lives, and they won't. All they'll do is they'll just pay interest the entire time, basically.
Yes. They will continue to accrue interest.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I get calls about these all the time.
Do you work in like a phone room, or do you actually have like an office where people come in and consult with you?
No, I work in a phone room. We're an online lender.
Okay.
So it's all phone in that area.
So you just basically get to hear all these college nightmare loan stories all day long. This is just basically your job. You hear all these horrifying situations.
It's a good, there's definite, like, when we can refinance people and save them money on government loans and private loans, it's a fantastic feeling, obviously. But
it's good for them because they can't get out of that debt, right? Like the college loan debt, they can't just bankruptcy that.
Right, it's federally guaranteed. They cannot wipe it away through a bankruptcy, or I've heard even death doesn't wipe it away.
Ooh, that's not good.
What happens when they die?
In most cases, death will wipe it out.
Okay.
It depends on the servicer, though, that you're with. Which is the person who they're making the payments through when they're doing it. It depends on the servicer if death will do it. But
Corey, thanks for sharing your experience here tonight, and feel free to do more in the future if you got other stories that you want to tell about that world. Thank you for the call. I appreciate it. The toll-free number for you is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And the Discord on-air call-in line room There's actually 3 of those waiting for you over at discord.lrn.fm. We got more on the way about socialism and people in America who seem to believe in it, despite all the evidence against forced wealth redistribution.
Did you know that safe drinking water is the second most essential human need? Don't take your water for granted. Know what you're drinking. Get a ProPure 10 in-home water test kit for just $20, a $39 value, and test for 10 different water contaminants and conditions. Takes about 10 minutes and works with most potable city and well water sources. No salesman will call. Order your test kit today and receive a $20 coupon good towards the purchase of a ProPure water filter system. Visit a participating authorized ProPure dealer or ProPureUSA.com.
This is Jessica Armand, creator of the fluoride-free oral care brand My Magic Mud. You're going to love our new products. Our cutting-edge oral rinses deeply soothe your mouth and fight cavities naturally. Our breath spray, My Magic Mist, will invigorate your senses with essential oils of peppermint and eucalyptus. Our clinically proven toothpaste and tooth powders whiten your teeth and detoxify your mouth. Buy discounted bundles direct at mymagicmud.com and take 10% off with coupon code GCN10. mymagicmud.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
If you're looking for work, the person you are applying to may be even more nervous than you are. And the way things are now, your references have never been more important. Here are 3 tips. First, know that employers are checking. Every hire is under the microscope these days. Second, they won't just be checking references you provide. Figure that all of your ex-employers will get a call and be asked, would you hire him or her again? Third, assume you will be Googled. So before you apply, remove all those party animal photos from your Facebook page. Even if you're not in the job market, effective communication skills have never been more important, with money and attention so scarce now. For more tips for job seekers and getting better results in all your day-to-day communication, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever's on your mind here. The toll-free number for you is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. Then there's our Discord on-air call-in lines, which are available to you at discord.lrn.fm. As we continue joining you in the studio tonight, you've got me, Ian.
Riley.
And Darryl.
And we're going to continue, of course, taking your calls and thoughts. But also, we've got the story from Foundation for Economic Education that we started the show out with, and we're actually almost done with it. So we'll jump back into that. They were talking about the Venezuelan starvation situation, which, of course, we hadn't described it as starvation previously because we hadn't gotten any reports of people dying from starvation. But now those reports are coming in from Venezuela. People were definitely going pretty hungry, skipping meals. Barely able to acquire any kind of sustenance of any meaningful, level.
Right.
Standing in lines for hours at a time just to try to get a hold of the most basic of foodstuffs. It's been just an absolute nightmare for the people living there, and now you've got children who are dying of just straight up starvation, according to the New York Times. And so even in the face of all of this evidence against socialism, people continue to support it, and that's what Foundation for Economic Education is looking at is, why could somebody continue to support this system that has proven time and time again to punish people?
It's not real socialism. That's why I guess they think they can support this idea.
That's definitely what it is that they say to justify their continuing beliefs in socialism.
Right.
Now let's go on here with the story because they end up talking about the good intentions of these socialists, that they don't really see the evil that they're doing. They may notice some of the negative outcomes, but they'll blame that on other things that don't necessarily have a large role in it. Like in Venezuela, it's a convenient scapegoat to blame the United States for all of their problems. And the same thing was true in North Korea until recently, until the Trump summit with Kim Jong-un seemed to kind of change the direction of things there. But Hugo Chavez, of course, started this ball rolling, and now he passed away several years ago. Now Nicolas Maduro, which was his right-hand man originally, is now the president of the country, and he's just, he's barreling ahead full speed into more socialism, even while this week admitting recently that he has been wrong about some things, not admitting that socialism is the problem, and that's what he was wrong about, but continuing to cook up some sort of a scheme to where he believes it's going to change things there. So they're talking about these good intentions. Professor Owen Williamson, this is again according to the Foundation of Economic Education, Williamson is of the University of Texas. He might say President Carter has fallen victim to the logical fallacy of the argument from motives, because they're referring to a quote that Carter said about Hugo Chavez, talking about how his intentions were really good, how he wanted to improve the lives of his fellow countrymen, even though he didn't agree, Carter didn't agree with all of his methods. Falsely, quote, this is the argument for motives, quote, falsely justifying or excusing evil or vicious actions because of the perpetrator's apparent purity of motive or lack of malice, unquote. In his book Capitalism and Freedom, Milton Friedman argued there were two threats to freedom, external and internal. In 1962, Friedman pointed to the Soviet Union as an external threat. Seeing an internal danger, Friedman argued, is more difficult because it's far more subtle. Quote, it's the internal threat coming from men of good intentions and goodwill who wish to reform us. Impatient with the slowness of persuasion and example to achieve the great social changes that they envision, they're anxious to use the power of the state to achieve their ends and confident of their own ability to do so. Yet if they gained the power, they would fail to achieve their immediate aims and in addition would produce a collective state from which they would recoil in horror and of which they would be among the first victims. Well, I don't know about them being the first victims because, Nicolas Maduro is the last victim of socialism in Venezuela, so I'm not sure what Friedman's referring to there. The people in power are not the first victim of socialism. They are insulated from the punishment of socialism. They get fed.
But definitely the supporters of socialism are the first victims.
Well, certainly the rank and file. Yeah, the ones in the streets are the victims, but the people who work,
lower class.
Right, the people who work for the state are more likely to get a meal on the table.
They're the last victims.
Right, they're the last victims, but it will hit them. The soldiers, we saw stories in Venezuela about soldiers stealing animals and butchering them because they didn't have enough food coming in from the military. So they take care of the state's going to take care of its own for as long as they can.
Right.
Because you don't want the soldiers turning against you and having yourself an uprising or a coup. Going on here from the story, that concentrated power is not rendered harmless by the good intentions of those who create it. And that's become among Friedman's most famous ideas. His warning is ignored today by those believing that good intentions of politicians like Bernie Sanders or congressional candidate Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez will render their destructive policies harmless. Friedman challenged his readers to consider, quote, which, if any, of the great reforms of past decades has achieved its objectives. Have the good intentions of the proponents of these reforms been realized, unquote. Related to the good intentions fallacy is the positive thinking fallacy. As Professor Williamson puts it, positive thinking is an immensely popular but diluted modern fallacy of logos that because we are thinking positively, that in itself somehow biases external objective reality in our favor even before we lift a finger to act. Let us grant good intentions to today's cadres of democratic socialists. Let us assume they are thinking positively. No matter. No good intentions or positive thoughts will overcome how reality works. The destructive outcomes of socialism will follow as history repeats itself.
And you know what they say about the road to hell?
It's paved
with good intentions. Sure. And, there's a reason they say that. Continues that you know that hell has a government because they have a paved road.
I had not heard that variant. That's cute.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I think I saw that on Facebook not too long ago. It's hilarious, though, because the claim is that libertarians just absolutely hate roads, and the only reason we have roads is because governments, something, even though, that's not at all true.
And so the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and you reap what you sow, and that's what people ignore. Is they ignore the violence of the system. They ignore the violence of the state, the idea of this coercive government that we have, where it justifies the use of threatening violence and actual violence against our peaceful neighbors in order to get them to go along with some sort of redistribution program or some mandates or licenses or requirements, or don't do the things they don't want you to do, or whatever it is that these people in power at the moment, whether they be Trump or whether they be Clinton or their adherents, it doesn't matter who's in charge. No matter what their intentions are, if they're using violence, if they're using the threat of force, aggressive force, to try to achieve these goals, then you are sowing the seeds of violence, and you're sowing the seeds of threats against your neighbors, and those are going to result in unintended consequences and destruction every single time. And yes, you may be able to point to somebody who's received a handout from the government and say, see, it's working.
Hey, they're helping blind people with handouts from the government. It's great.
They are. I wouldn't blame you for taking some of those handouts if they were there.
What's the famous Harry Brown quote? Government's good at breaking your leg, giving you a crutch, and then saying, see, without us, you couldn't walk.
That's right. Harry Brown, the Libertarian Party's presidential candidate in the year 1996 and 2000. One of the last great Libertarian Party candidates for president. So that's the story from the Foundation for Economic Education. I know, Darryl, you had a related piece that you had wanted to share about the myth of socialism in the Scandinavian countries. Yeah,
specifically in Sweden. And this, again...
Because this is the typical rebuttal to us pointing out, oh, look at the horrors of Venezuela. Well, look at how great things are in Sweden. Everything's wonderful.
Right. So, again, article from FEE, and I'm not reading the entire thing because FEE articles are incredibly long, but a little bit of backstory. They say in the 1960s, Sweden started to redistribute wealth, which brought wealth creation to a halt. By the mid-1990s, the country had growing economic problems because it continued to redistribute wealth it was not creating. It was at this juncture that many of the wealthy, including the members of the band ABBA and other entrepreneurs, began leaving Sweden. In 1994, Sweden began implementing the following measures designed to reverse this trend.
Let's talk about it.
Reducing regulation, reducing spending, and reforming welfare programs.
Really? All right, let's get into it here, and you can share your thoughts. So is Sweden really a socialist paradise? They don't even call themselves socialists, do they? There's more coming up here in moments. This is Free Talk Live. Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.global, drop your personal crypto wallet addresses in our setup page, and then load our app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at AnyPay.global. That's AnyPay.global.
Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 13,000 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed secure node systems of any cryptocurrency, and Zencash now has supernodes. Supernodes will bring network, economic, and technical improvements across the network. And the official Zencash wallet is available on Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com. Zencash.com.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
This is Fred.
Hi, I'm Fred.
Fred's a repeater.
I tend to repeat.
Fred has a business.
I do have a business.
And a problem. Fred repeats the same tired advertising over and over, and now it doesn't work.
Over and over.
But Fred is about to see a vision.
I'm seeing a vision.
Advertising on the Genesis Communications Network is the smart way for Fred to reach his potential customers with the most affordable national advertising rates, period. Get started today with GCN, the Genesis Communications Network. Just email advertise@gcnlive.com.
Free Talk Live, the show where anyone can call about whatever they want. And we do mean anyone.
Ginger in Florida, you're on Free Talk Live.
I just thought I'd call and give y'all some news. We found out on a...
Wait, I thought your name was Paula.
Huh?
Are you trying to hide your identity, Paula? Are you trying to protect yourself from the NSA and the New World Order? I thought your name was Paula.
No, anyway...
Your name's Ginger?
Yeah.
Why has it been Paula every other time you've called?
I guess she does call, too. Anyway,
Do you have a twin
I just
sister?
want to give you some information. We just
go
heard
ahead
on
there,
another
Ginger.
program that, well, actually, the whole world is going into a world collapse. They said we have till the 1st of June.
So what I want to know, Ginger, is do you know who Paula is?
What? I'm trying to give you some information.
You've given me the information. You said the world's going to collapse in less than a week.
I'm going to start drinking now, and I'm not coming out of it until after July's over.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You can join us on the radio here. Talk about what you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've also got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms at discord.lrn.fm. And if you're new to Discord, I guess it can be a little bit confusing. We got a guy from the Twitch chat room who says he's in there for the first time ever. Trying to get him to join the on-air call-in lines. They're the first 3 rooms there. It's basically Discord is a chat server. There's text rooms, there's voice rooms. So there are voice rooms right at the top of our list of rooms. And you just click on the room that you want to join. You can join any one of them. It doesn't matter which line that you join. We'll see you in there, and then we'll join you, and you'll be on the air with us. It is that simple. And it tends to work pretty well. So head over to discord.lrn.fm and you can do that there.
Now, one bit of info that I found out on Monday when I was in a conference call that happened to have been using a Discord server is if you're using the web version, the voice chat doesn't work properly. So
really? Okay.
If you're on a laptop, you will need to download.
You gotta have the app.
you will need to download the program.
That figures, but good to know about that. The good news is the app's available for whatever operating system, Linux, Mac, Windows, and or smartphone devices, iOS, Android, it's there. So it makes it easy. And with your smartphone, there's like almost no configuration that you have to do. You just have to log in and you join the right rooms. So we're going to continue here. It's Ian, Riley, and Darryl in the studio tonight. We're going to the phones, in fact, to the Discord chat room or the call-in line room where Rauco is on the line here. Rauco, you're on Free Talk Live. Where are you calling from tonight?
From Germany.
Germany. All right. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Yes. Well, yeah. I don't know how much you know about European systems like in healthcare and how much we pay for healthcare and how good it is. And I think, for example, I think in the 80s in London, the water supply system, which was, I think. Sorry, looking for words.
That's all right. You're doing fine.
Was made by the city. Was going to a private company.
Okay.
And that's been plenty of times in Europe when this happened, and every time the water got more expensive with less quality. In London, they had insects in the tap water. Yeah. And for example, in Germany, our tap water is better in quality than any bottled water.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what you're saying is,
for example, and the water system in Germany is mostly in the hands of the cities.
Yeah. So what you're saying is you believe that when the government turns over a government service,
not the government, the cities. It's made by the cities.
The city government.
Supplies
the city government.
No, it's not the government. It's the city. It's
what's
the people.
The difference?
The difference?
Yeah. So you're saying the city isn't the government in Germany?
It's it's part of organizing.
Is there a municipal government or not?
In Germany, where do you live in Germany?
In western Germany.
What's the city? Do you mind?
It's close to Frankfurt.
Okay, so let's use Frankfurt.
Does Frankfurt have a mayor? Do they have a city council?
Some sort
of course.
Structure? Okay.
All right. And does that mayor and city council oversee whatever the water system thing is, or is it some other entity that just happens to exist within Frankfurt that oversees the water?
It's different. In some cities, it's in some cities it's organized like in I don't know the word. Sorry.
It's all right.
Genossenschaft. It's they are guaranteed to. They have to guarantee to give the service, for example, water in the area, and.
When you pay for the water
without making profit or making too much profit to sustain the system, to pay the people who work for it, and so on.
Now, when you pay the water bill in Frankfurt, let's say in the city of Frankfurt, when you pay the water bill, do you write a check? And if so, to whom is the check made out to? Do you know?
To the service provider. It depends on the local service provider who maintains the water system.
Do they have a name though? Does the service provider have a name?
Yes, they always have names. So sure.
So what's an example?
Frankfurt Department of Water, or is it
City of Frankfurt?
City of Frankfurt.
I mean, what would you write if you were going to write a check to pay for your water bill? What would you write on the check?
I live in a flat and I pay
my
rent.
They take care of it.
And it's part of my rent.
I see.
That's it.
So you wouldn't know then exactly. So in most places,
I could know if I would care about it, but I have excellent water. I can drink it right from the tap and
So for most people, this is a completely transparent service. It's something they don't think about. It's included in their apartment rent, and they don't have to think about who it's going to. In most places, as I understand it, where the government handles the water, which is the way it is in most places. Now, you're saying in some European cities they've turned it over to a private corporation. But in most places, like here in Keene, New Hampshire, the water is handled by the city government. It's the city of Keene who handles the water purification and the water distribution and delivery in the sewer system. In most cities, that's the way it works.
Right.
But what you told me at the beginning of your call was that when the European cities have tried to turn this over to a private corporation, the costs have gone up. You mentioned that in the UK, or London, I think it was, that there were insects found in the water, so quality went down, price went up, and this is your example of how the market has failed. Is that right?
Yes. For example, next example in Great Britain.
Before you go on with another example, let's talk about let's talk about the first example before you go on with another one. Because what you're not talking about there is a free market in anything. You're talking about a restricted market.
Water provider that you're talking about in this alleged market.
Right, and they were given a monopoly by the local government.
Right, you're talking about a sweetheart deal for some corporation that almost guarantee you has a connection to somebody in the city council. Some corporation who knows the city councilors, has lined their pockets, and has gotten a deal out of them, and they get to take it over, and there's very little accountability. So it's not a surprise. This is the same with like a charter school here in the United States, where the government will give the ability to run a school to some private corporation. Sometimes they do a better job, sometimes they don't.
But here's the thing with the charter schools that most people want to completely ignore. The charter schools are still funded 100% by taxpayers.
Yeah, that's true.
But they're envisioned and put out there as some kind of alternative to a government-run school.
But I mean, in the same way, the water systems are still being given out by the contracts are being given out by the government. I was just giving out as an example of a contract.
How are your fireworkers organized in the United States?
It depends. Some places they are volunteer fire departments.
But you also have in bigger cities. I think you have professional.
Here in Keene, they are government-funded fire departments. But before you go on to fire departments, we need to make it clear that when the government gives a sweetheart deal to a corporation, you're almost guaranteed to get worse service. We see this in the private prison systems here in the United States. Yeah. So that's not the free marketplace. It's not freedom at all. It's a government, not make-work program, but it's a government guarantee, basically. Guaranteed business.
Maybe water supply is a bad
Let's go on to the next one now, then.
So for a free market, because I think we all agree that it wouldn't be cheaper if you make it because it makes no sense to lay multiple companies' tubes under the roads.
I tend to agree with you. I think it's an interesting challenge to look at the question of how do we get from here to there? How do we get from having this one-size-fits-all government water system, which arguably, because of volume and costs, could be done cheaper than having a bunch of systems interlocking and competing? And would any other corporation really even want to come in and lay a bunch of water pipes? The cost of that would be tremendous.
And then let's talk about the boondoggle from my hometown in Alabama, where the county commission wound up, I think it was $1 billion worth of debt that they accrued on some sewer expansion. They wound up getting in so much debt that now they send a bill to every house in the county, even if that county is not connected to the sewer.
Wow. All right, so go on, Rauco.
Yeah, well,
and do me a favor, back off your. Do me a favor for just a quick tech check for you. Back off your microphone like an inch, and then I think you're going to sound a lot better.
It's better like this.
We'll try it. Go ahead.
Okay. But for healthcare, I mean, it's the costs for the same treatment and medication in most European systems are cheaper than in the United States. That's just a fact. I mean, same operation, same treatment, same medication is.
I thought the medication was. I thought healthcare was free. Is it not free over there to the end user?
In Germany, I mean, if you're for example,
hold that thought. If you can hang on, we'll continue talking to you. It's up to you, though. More with Rauco, possibly in hour number 3 coming up here. He's in Germany. It's Free Talk Live.
Normal blood pressure, naturally. How would that make you feel?
I'm Don from New Mexico.
January of 2000, I had a heart attack. Then my real health began going downhill. I had high blood pressure, diabetes, poor vision. I wasn't sleeping well. I was a mess.
Don reports dramatic improvements with Heart and Body Extract.
I started taking Heart and Body Extract. From within a few days, I started sleeping better. My blood pressure normalized. My diabetes normalized. My sleep improved.
Experience these benefits and more when your body heals itself with the assistance of Heart and Body Extract. Order at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305. That's hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305.
And folks, I did not expect this at all. By the 7th, 8th, and 9th day, I saw dramatic improvements from taking Heart and Body Extract.
Heart and Body Extract comes with a 100% ironclad money-back guarantee. Details at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, August 10th, 2018. Silver is trading at $15.40 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,214 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $21, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,499. Antiwar.com reports with Congress flat out refusing to fund the plan in the 2019 military spending bill, the Trump administration is continuing to insist that they intend to create a new sixth branch of the military called the Space Force by 2020. Vice President Mike Pence set out on Thursday saying that it was the next great chapter in the history of our armed forces and prepare for the next battlefield of America's wars, which apparently will be in space. Pence addressed the lack of congressional approval, saying that the Space Force will not be built from scratch just yet, but rather will see an increased centralization of the existing Space Command, which is part of the Air Force, while establishing more space-centric agencies and forces to fill out what eventually will become the Space Force if and when it is approved by Congress. Trump had previously claimed Space Force would be separate but equal to the Air Force and would ensure total U.S. dominance over space into the future. He has insisted he believes space is a place where a lot of stuff is happening. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake's security company has seen better days. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. But at what cost? Will anybody care? And can anyone stop him? Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. UPI reports the average amount of individual student loan debt owned by U.S. college students increased by more than $300 in 2017, according to a study by Lend.edu. The New Jersey-based online loan marketplace's annual student loan debt by school by state report found the average debt per borrower for the class of 2017 was $28,288, up $313 from $27,975 in 2016. Lend.edu said on Wednesday student loan debt in the U.S. continues to be an issue of the utmost importance. The total outstanding student loan debt now stands at $1.52 trillion, making it the second largest form of consumer debt behind only mortgages. The annual report uses data from the Peterson's Financial Aid Survey, which collects responses from 1,080 four-year public and private institutions to determine average individual student loan debt figures and rank states and colleges in terms of debt per borrower. Pennsylvania had the highest student loan debt per borrower at $36,100
$1,293, up from 2016, when it was also the state where college graduates paid back the highest debt at $35,185. The state was home to 6 of the nation's top 10 public colleges with the highest average student debt. Are you looking for a cryptocurrency that has a focus on users and usability? Then look into Zencash. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com. Reuters reports a federal judge on Thursday ordered an immigrant mother and daughter brought back to the United States after learning during a court hearing that the government had put them on a deportation flight to El Salvador. The pair were among 12 plaintiffs in a lawsuit brought by the American Civil Liberties Union challenging changes in asylum policies ordered by U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions. Washington, D.C. District Court Judge Emmett Sullivan was hearing a request to stay the plaintiffs' deportations when the ACLU learned that 2 of them were already on a flight to Central America. Upon hearing the news, Sullivan ordered their flight returned and suggested that Sessions could be held in contempt of court, according to the ACLU. An official from the Department of Homeland Security said in an email statement that the agency is complying with the court's order, and upon arrival in El Salvador, the plaintiffs did not disembark and are currently en route back to the United States. During the hearing, the judge ordered a temporary stay on deporting the 9 women and 3 children who filed the suit, according to the court filing. The lawsuit was filed on Tuesday in the District of Columbia by the ACLU. It challenges a recent tightening on standards for seeking U.S. asylum, which makes it far more difficult for those fleeing domestic or gang violence to win the right to remain in the United States. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Delighted health insurance executives gather in an outdoor coliseum to watch a patient battle cancer, and a self-conscious flasher is fully clothed under his trench coat. This is the Onion Week in Review. While stressing that they would absolutely never consider doing anything of the sort, German leaders quietly admitted this week that they were pretty sure they could carry out another Holocaust if they ever truly wanted to. Quickly noting that the Holocaust was an atrocity that should never be repeated, no matter how easy it would be to do so, almost all members of the German parliament discreetly conceded that with their country's dominance of Eurozone GDP, pulling off the unthinkable genocide would not be the least bit difficult.
I'm just saying, hypothetically, that we very easily could do it. I mean, we definitely have the infrastructure, and the concentration camps are still standing.
In other news, a so-called Christian has an erection. A new study finds more children are growing up in single-parent households, and a real-life Nancy Drew traces the source of her HPV.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and we're launching into the 3rd hour of the program. You're, of course, welcome to bring up whatever you want. We've been talking about socialism and its failure, its abject failure in Venezuela, and, of course, whenever you do that, your typical socialists are going to say, oh, well, of course, Venezuela's not working. They failed. They didn't implement it right. Just look at the European countries for perfect examples of how to do it right. But, Darryl, you started out, or like in the last hour, in the very end of the last hour, we had started sharing an article from FEE, or you were summarizing it, which basically said that the country of Sweden had some pretty socialist programs for a little bit, and then they realized that it wasn't really working out, and they changed direction and went back towards the market.
Right. So in the 90s, Sweden began implementing the following measures designed at reversing the trend of stifling economic growth. So they reduced regulations, reduced government spending, and reformed welfare programs.
Wow. And it is one of the top countries in the world right now, Sweden, if I recall correctly. The various different economic freedom indexes rank it higher than the United States.
Right. They say Sweden has continued on this path for the last 24 years, which has brought them a modest rate of growth, but not nearly as robust as the pre-60s levels due to government taxation remaining high. Many view Sweden as socialist, but the country is in fact, according to the article here, very pro-capitalism, but does it with redistribution through taxes. Personal income is taxed at a rate of 61.85%, plus a 7% Social Security tax rate for employees. On top of that, Sweden also has a 25% consumption tax.
Whoa.
For these sacrifices of financial freedom, this is what Swedes get in return. A pension, healthcare, unemployment insurance, education through PhD level, child daycare, very generous leaves of absence from work with benefits including education for up to 6 months, starting your own company up to 6 months off, parental leave up to 16 months with 80% of your pay during time off.
So they
Plus
do still have
16 public holidays.
So they do still have significant wealth redistribution programs. It's
Correct.
not like it's gone to a free market or anything like
Right. And that's one of the problems with the use of the term capitalism, as a lot of libertarians try to use it, is a lot of libertarians try to use the word capitalism to mean free market when... No, capitalism really only has to do with the means of production, whether the means of production are privately held or, in the case of socialism, if the means of production are centrally controlled.
Let's bring Rocco back on the line here. He's in Germany and had called on this topic in general and had started out by talking about water supply. And we did do a little bit of research, by the way, Rocco. I know we were moving on from that, but I thought it would be useful to put the details out there that we discovered during the news break. And that is, according to, at the very least, the Wikipedia article entitled Water Supply and Sanitation in Germany, it is indeed the city governments that are in charge of the water supply. So you may not have been aware of that, but we were correct in our speculation there. According to Wikipedia, responsibility for water supply and sanitation in Germany and the provision of that water supply lies with municipalities, which is the city of Frankfurt or the city of, you fill in the blank, whatever city we're talking about. That, in turn, is regulated by the states in Germany, and further, there's also a set of standards that the German government is following from Brussels and in the EU. So ultimately, water is regulated all the way up to the top in the European Union, but at the very low level is controlled by the city government there. So it is a completely government-controlled function, and you had said earlier that you believed you owned the water supply there, and the fact is you don't. It's the city government that's in charge. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, well, but our water is healthy and it's cheaper. And we have it all over. No, we have it all over the country, and we get what we want.
Here in the United States, the water is a wide range. Like here in Keene, New Hampshire.
It's a completely different situation. You're a vast, very big country with much low.
Yeah, here in Keene, New Hampshire, the water is provided by the government, the city government, and it's actually pretty good water. Where I come from in Florida, not so great. You want to make sure you run it through a filter before you actually drink the stuff.
Right, and a lot of people like to point to Flint, Michigan as some kind of failing of the free market when that water system was completely controlled by the local government. Yeah. They changed from... I forget if it was the Detroit River to the Flint River, and one of the water sources had, some kind of thing in it that was much harsher on the pipes that wound up causing some of the lead in the pipes to get into the drinking supply. That was just a total failure of government. That was not some kind of failure of the free market.
So we pointed out here, Rocco, and we were moving on to, you were going to talk about healthcare, and your statement was that healthcare costs are cheaper, you say, for various different types of service in Germany than they are in the United States. Is that what you were saying?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's what it would.
So I don't know, where the numbers come from, but it is worth pointing out that in the United States, we don't have a free market in healthcare here either. We have a government-regulated marketplace where the government controls pretty much every aspect of it.
They pick the winners and losers. They pick who's going to deliver the medications to the end user.
And the medications cost more because the governments get in the way, and they create all kinds of regulations and hoops for these companies to jump through in order to simply provide a service. Darryl, you were giving an example off the air tonight of a doctor that wanted to get a hold of like an X-ray unit or something.
MRI machine, and
MRI?
we covered this last night on the show.
Okay.
The surgeon wanted to, in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, get an MRI machine and offer MRIs for $500. Whereas somebody did some digging. And,
isn't it normally like $3,500 or something?
The prices range from about $1,200 to $24,000 in Winston-Salem.
Oh, God. Wow.
And this surgeon was told, well, first you need a certificate of need, and then he later found out that he could not even apply for the certificate of need because the healthcare providers in Winston-Salem or some bureaucrat in Raleigh, it was unclear who exactly, decided that Winston-Salem did not need any more permanent MRI machines, so he could not even apply for the certificate of need to be able to get the government's permission to buy the MRI machine.
So, Rauco, the problem with the socialist wealth redistribution programs is the violence that backs the program. If you had a group of people that decided they wanted to come together and pool their money together to purchase health care on a consensual basis, then that would be totally fine. But the issue that I think most libertarians, like the ones on this show, would have with the system as it is, with single-payer health care or so-called universal health care, is that everyone is forced to participate, whether they appreciate their options or the program or not. And that force, that aggressive force, has all kinds of consequences that are very negative on the system, and in many cases creates higher costs than would otherwise exist in a free market full of competition, creates lower quality of service or no service at all. In the case of people like in the UK, where little babies were prevented from even getting any health care service by the National Health Service there, prevented from even leaving the UK and acquiring health services in Italy or in the United States, because the parents were able to get that service elsewhere, but the hospital literally kept the baby in the hospital under lock and key and under armed guard to stop people.
Even though the Italian parliament granted citizenship to this child in hopes that international law would allow the child to leave the United Kingdom to go to Italy.
Do you understand the immorality aspect of forcing your neighbors to go along with a system they might not agree with?
No.
No, you don't think that's immoral?
I mean, no.
No, you don't think it's immoral to threaten violence against your peaceful neighbors? That's not immoral.
No, I think.
Well, that's where we're going to have to part. I thank you for the call, Rauco. I appreciate hearing from you tonight, because if you don't think it's immoral to threaten violence against your neighbors to get them to join some sort of program, you got some serious problems.
Yeah.
And I thank you for the call tonight. It's not okay to use violence against your neighbors, even if you've got a good idea. If it's a good idea, then they should support it on a voluntary basis. We'll continue here, and you can share your thoughts with us on Free Talk Live.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
From the third letter of Captain Mark. The Crown's observation conditions us to be dishonest with ourselves. Therefore, constant surveillance produces a society of constant deception. Honest communication is the seed of civilized conduct. To deny us this seed is to deny us its fruits. But the Crown's primary objective is to stifle free thought itself, to make its subjects incapable of dissent. Seasoned pirates have always encrypted messages and codes and ciphers, so intercepted transmissions were incomprehensible. But today, the Crown possesses advanced tools of pattern recognition that document, profile, and predict our every move. Today, Piracy requires hailing frequencies completely invisible to the Crown. We are tired of poltergeists in the static. Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels, or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll free and you can bring up what you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Hey, if you are in a retail environment, if you're a manager or an owner of a retail establishment, someplace where you're dealing with customers, you've got a cashier, point of sale, and you want to be able to take cryptocurrency like Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash, Dash, Zcash, and more easily at your point of sale, we have the solution for you. It's called AnyPay. AnyPay.global is where you can go and get signed up. And when I say sign up, it's username and password, and you're in. There's no approval process. There's no paperwork. There's no government involved. There's no regulations involved. You just go, create your account, and then once you're in, after you create your username and password, you then go and you plug your cryptocurrency wallet addresses into the setup page, and then you load the app on your point-of-sale device. You're done. It's that easy. If you've got a tablet at your point of sale, you're already halfway there. Go to anypay.global to get started, and you'll be accepting crypto within minutes. Anypay.global. As we continue here, your calls and thoughts. Welcome. CJ is on the line, listening in an anonymous location via our Twitch feed at twitch.lrn.fm, where you can watch us online. Go ahead, CJ.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm going to try to be as coherent as possible while I drift in and out of reality on mushrooms. But,
Awesome.
But, yeah.
Not the thing I would do if I were on mushrooms is call talk radio, but hey, man, everybody's got their own journey.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. Well, especially after this particularly shocking incident, I've learned a lot about liberals in the past 24 to 48 hours, but I've been in like a 48-hour argument with these people on the internet who are trying to convince me endlessly that the Third Reich was somehow a capitalist regime.
No, it was a socialist. No, it was a socialist regime the Nazis were socialists, so...
Well, everybody was basically a socialist back then, from what I understand. So they weren't the same kind of socialists as the socialists they were fighting against.
The Nazi Party was the National Socialist Party.
Right, so they were more of like a fascist brand of socialism, I think, from what I understand. But, yeah.
So that's exactly what I said. And here's the thing about liberals. Now, not only are they like making absolutely no sense, and they're trying to make arguments that they just have no basis in reality. Now, if you try to disagree with them or you try to point out the illogicalness of it, they just get mean now, just really mean and nasty.
Were they calling you a Nazi?
No, no, but they were definitely harassing me though, being incredibly mean, calling me, telling me I was uneducated, and that's another thing. Their insults don't even make sense either. They were telling me that I can't read well and things like that. Just things that make absolutely no sense.
Here's a bit of advice. Conservatives do the same thing.
Is that right?
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
They absolutely do. They absolutely do. This was just a particularly shocking incident to me.
So the idea is if you don't agree with what they're saying, the brilliance of whatever it is they're saying, you obviously can't read.
Or you're ignorant to their reality or something.
Right, and if you disagree with a conservative, then you're just one of those libtard snowflakes and something. Yeah, so here's a suggestion. Don't argue with people on the internet.
That's a good idea. It's a good plan. But he's calling from an anonymous location. I presume you're not in New Hampshire, right, CJ?
Well, not anymore. This is TJ, the former Free Stater.
A former Free Stater?
Yeah.
So why did you leave?
I'm back close to my family now, but hopefully I will be able to return, in the next 5 or so years.
Oh, that'd be cool. Well, hey, I appreciate hearing from you tonight. Anything else you want to share?
Nope, that's it, guys.
Appreciate the call, CJ from
Enjoy
Anonymous
your trip.
Places. They're watching us on Twitch, which you can do over at twitch.lrn.fm. It is the Twitch video streaming service. It's where we've been located as our official HD quality stream since earlier this year. I think we started in January, so thank you to everybody who's followed us so far on the Twitch platform. It is a way for new people to find the show. In this case tonight, our caller from Germany, who came on the line with us, actually found us on Twitch, and I managed to get him to call in, which was great, because he was in there in the chat room like hammering away about socialism, and I said, you can talk here in this chat room, and hardly anybody's ever going to see it, because only the people who are watching on Twitch can see the chat for Twitch, or you can call in, and then you can have your ideas heard on the however many hundred or so radio stations that we're going to be on in the next 24 hours.
Right, and then all of the thousands of people that download the podcast.
Correct. So if you're watching us on Twitch and you want to join the program, or you're listening to us anywhere in the world, however it is you're listening, because we're on free-to-air satellite, we're on almost 190 radio stations around the United States, and of course streamed online and via podcasts. There's a lot of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Whether you're listening live or not, you are invited to call in and share your opinions here. And it's not to say that I completely disagreed with Rauco, who had called in. I mean, because I do agree that it is a challenge for a libertarian, I think, to answer the question of, well, how would the free market handle water supply? Now, that's not to say that there isn't an answer. There would be, and the people in search of profits in the free market would come up with ways to service people, whether it be laying extra pipe or whether it be physical deliveries of water. There is the Culligan man, right? People who come around with literal 5-gallon jugs of water and serve people that way. So there are alternatives today as far as getting water to your house. And who knows what other innovations would be created in the absence of a government one-size-fits-all system. But I do agree it is a challenge, and it is an easy objection to say, well, yeah, what company is going to want to lay another set of pipes, next to the existing set of pipes, which would require tearing up all the roads in the town and laying a whole other set of pipes, and the amount of cost involved in doing something like that is, frankly, it's staggering.
And then, also to lay all of those pipes, in addition to tearing up roads, there would probably be some use of eminent domain, which libertarians oppose.
Right. And so it's not to say that there wouldn't be some sort of creative solution that could be come up with, but the thing is, when you turn to government, you're throwing creativity out the window.
Right. And, one of the big problems that a lot of people that rely currently on central planners, one of the problems that they have to overcome is libertarians don't want to centrally plan your life. So when you ask us, how is X going to be done?
We don't know.
I don't know. There could be 5 dozen different ways. I'm not going to pick the best one because I don't want to pick and choose and
we
force
don't know
everybody.
what the best way is. Only the market would know that.
Right.
Only
exactly.
time will tell.
Not only do I not know, but even if I did know, I don't want to force everybody to go with the thing that I think is going to work.
And we may not have even come up with the best solution yet. I mean,
correct.
If you get government out of the way, perhaps the market will even provide a really, really good solution that no one's ever thought of.
Well, because necessity, as they say, is the mother of invention, right? So if the problem is that the government water supply or the newly privatized, which again is almost always the government handing over a system to a private company, some sort of back scratching.
My buddy knows how to do
deal.
this, so let's just give him the control.
Yeah, if that does happen and prices start going up, well, that's when the other options will become more relevant, right? Then all of a sudden the Culligan man, which is too expensive right now, if the laid pipe version water gets too expensive, then the Culligan man's going to get competitive, and then other options will begin to spring up, so to speak. Toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can also join us on the on-air call-in lines on the Discord server. We're coming up.
This is Jessica Armand, founder of My Magic Mud. Our team helped organize a successful effort to remove fluoride from our city's water supply. This is our passion. My Magic Mud Oral Care purifies and brightens your smile naturally. GCN listeners, please support my family business by purchasing our products from your local health food store. We're also available at CVS Pharmacy, or visit us at mymagicmud.com and take 10% off now with coupon code GCN10.
If you like alkaline water, or know someone that does, you're going to love the Dylan Living Water Bottle. It creates alkaline water on the go while reducing plastic waste and saving you money. Made with surgical-grade stainless steel, the Dylan bottle increases the pH up to 9 to deliver both alkaline and antioxidant water anywhere you want it. Alkaline water is healthier, tastes better, and can even boost energy. The Dylan bottle makes it easy and affordable to be healthy and achieve optimal hydration. Get your Dylan bottle today at dyln.co. That's dyln.co.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial toll free. Join us on the radio. The number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. If you're into cryptocurrency, you're probably like some of us, and you want to get other people into it as well because, well, over time, crypto can go up in value. It could go down as well, but over time, it seems to have gone up overall across all the markets, across the whole world over the years that it's been around. And so if you care about people and you want them to be wealthy in the future, then you probably want to share cryptocurrency with them. And if you want a really good tool to do that, I've got it for you. It's Crypto Tip. You go to cryptotip.org and you can print out business card sized tips that you can give to people who give you good service, or just give it to people that you want to give some crypto to. Maybe a loved one at a birthday or something like that, or Christmas stocking stuffers. These would be perfect for that. Cryptotip.org. You go there and you can create as many tips as you want. It is super easy to do. It can be done for for free, basically. I mean, you just have to pay for the amount that you want to put on the tips, but the site itself, there's a 0% option that you can tip the site. So the programmer, the brilliant guy, Michael Hampton, who made this happen, if you want, you can tip him. There's also now a 2.5% tipping option that was recently added to the site per request. So go there, create your tips, print them out, and then give them out. Now remember, when you do give out tips to service providers, make sure you give them a good cash tip at the same time. You don't want to just give somebody a crypto tip alone, because that would be seen as an insult.
Right.
Likely by people who don't understand what you've given them and who don't already have an appreciation for it. These are for people who don't have an appreciation for crypto. They're for people who don't know what cryptocurrency is or have barely heard anything about it, and it's a great introductory tool for those people.
Right.
And now you can use Bitcoin Cash with CryptoTip. That just started this week. So it originally was Dash only. Now you've got two choices with which crypto that you can load the tips. So it's either Dash or Bitcoin Cash at cryptotip.org. As we continue, we'll take your calls and thoughts. We go over to our Discord on-air call-in line, where Mortified Penguin is on the line in Virginia. You're on Free Talk Live with Ian Riley and Darryl.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Just calling from the Commonwealth of the LRN Discord. Wanted to talk about Trump's tariffs and trade policy. And basically, I think at this point, we've talked about it to death, and we're accepting that he has a plan. It's not that there's no. The guy goes on and he says a bunch. He contradicts himself. He posts some tweets. He says something crazy and outlandish, or intentionally dumb. Then he contradicts himself again. Then he has his press secretary contradict him, and he's playing all these games. But in the end, there's some kind of plan. There's some kind of 4D chess. There's in this case, there really is some kind of these are retaliatory tariffs. So we're going to put on more tariffs and then back up our own native industries because you do that, and then we want you to get rid of the tariffs. There is some rhyme or reason to that. So yes, okay, the idea hopefully would be to get to some sort of free market. And
so you're saying you're buying this plan, supposedly, that Donald Trump is actually anti-tariff, and that in order to get rid of tariffs, he has to add tariffs in order to show the other countries that he's serious about these retaliatory tariffs. So therefore, the hope is that in response to adding tariffs, the other countries will just basically respond and say, oh, shoot, we didn't know you were going to do that. Well, we'll go ahead and take our tariffs away, and then the United States takes its tariffs away, and then free market. Is that what you're saying the plan ostensibly is?
Well, that's keyword hope. I would hope that, but no, I think that's the wrong way to go about it. No, if you're pro-free market, drop your tariffs.
I agree.
That's what
definitely.
You lead by example.
Tariffs are nothing but theft. I mean, Free Talk Live has pointed this out time and time again. Tariffs are nothing but theft, because what you are doing is you're charging a tax on goods coming into your country. And who pays those? The consumer.
That's right.
They'll figure it out soon.
Will they, though?
I don't know if they will, because these are people who think that, I mean, these are Trump supporters who think that Trump's a great guy, and they ignorantly assume that Trump knows what he's doing.
They'll just wind up yelling at the car companies and the washing machine company of, you're just raising the price because you're a greedy capitalist.
Well, I mean, here's how I see it. Like the alternative plan to that would be basically what's the word? You go ahead and drop your own tariffs, and then say, okay, we've dropped our own tariffs. Now you can play the game, play ball with us, drop your tariffs, or tariffs are going back up. I'm not saying just get rid of tariffs. I mean, yeah, of course that's ideal, but I mean, if we're in such a strong position, this is the United States, is a strong country. Be the stronger person, make the first move. If you want to get rid of tariffs, if you're serious about it. That's my opinion.
I'm with you. Anything else you want to share, Mortified Penguin?
No, that's all.
Thanks for the call on our Discord chat there, the Discord on-air call-in line, room number 2, and there are 3 lines there now available for you over at discord.lrn.fm. If you want to sound pretty darn good compared to just a regular old phone call, that is the way to do it. As we continue, we will, of course, take your calls about what you want. Now, Darryl, there was a story that you wanted to relate tonight on the 4-day work week and some experiment about that somewhere. Do you want to touch on that here?
There was a company down in New Zealand that they tested out a 4-day work week for a couple of months. And there's a new report on this thing, and they're saying it was a resounding success. The company Perpetual Guardian helps customers manage their wills and estates, and they released the results of their 2-month trial earlier this week. The company said its employees all reported greater productivity, better work-life balance, and lower stress levels from working 1 less day per week. The employees, more than 240 of them, were still paid for 5 days a week during the experiment, which ran from the beginning of March until the end of April. The trial was conducted by outside researchers. Now, I was curious about something and went and actually pulled up one of the reports. There are 2 reports on this study, and they answer my question here. One of the people that gave neutral responses says, quote, my experience was neutral. I liked the fact that I had flexibility to have 3 days off. However, my workload was still worth 37.5 hours, so I had to make up the time on the 4 days that I worked. This resulted in longer days when I was working, which wasn't so conducive to a balanced work life. And again, that's one person's experience. When I used to work for an airline, I actually loved working 4-day, 10-hour days. Because, all right, I get an extra day off, and then I got free flights, so I would, travel on 2 of the days and then stay home and do whatever needed to be done.
Gotcha.
And it was perfect. I loved the 4-day work week. I know you had mentioned that you thought that this was some kind of like socialist propaganda of 4-day work week.
I mean, I've heard them talking about it. So like the people who hate working, those are the kinds of people, some of them.
Oh, they want the 4-hour work week.
Right.
That's the Tim Ferriss thing.
They want to cut it down as much as possible, but they start being more reasonable by saying, go to 4 days from 5 days. Although I would suspect they would want 4 days of 8 hours at the same amount of pay as 5 days at 8 hours.
Right.
So in this case, what you're saying is here, the staff member still had to work whatever load of work they had to work in that 4 days.
So let's continue. Perpetual Guardian CEO Andrew Barnes told CNN, quote, it was just a theory, something I thought I wanted to try because I wanted to create a better environment for my team. I'm humbled that my team responded, and they went beyond my wildest dreams. In a survey taken last year, only 54% of respondents said they felt they were able to manage their work-life balance. After the 2-month trial, that number jumped to 78%. Staff stress levels also decreased by about 7%. The key to the experiment's success was the staff input, which Jared Haar of Auckland University of Technology, one of the researchers, said they were given freedom to redesign things. The experiment could be a model for other workplaces to become a revolutionary way to work. Barnes said employees became more productive, spent less time on social media and non-work activity.
It does seem as though it would at the very least be more efficient as far as you're only traveling 4 days a week instead of 5. So your amount of time spent, if you have a significant commute, you've just saved some significant time.
And there's a little bit more to this as well.
We'll come back. Your thoughts welcome, 855-450 free. This is Free Talk Live.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Have you had credit challenges, divorce, bankruptcy, or just haven't established your credit yet? If so, getting a decent car loan can be tough. The good news is that there is a place where you can get a car loan at a fair price regardless of your credit situation. Auto Loan Express can make it happen now when you visit newcar99.com. Here's the deal. If you have a regular job, then there's no reason to keep taking the bus or repairing that old junker. Go to newcar99.com today and fill out our simple online application. We accept over 99% of applicants and can get you behind the wheel of your new car with just a few strokes of your keyboard. No hassles, no third degree. Just fill out the simple online application and start shopping for your next car. So when you're ready to get on the road with your new car loan, visit us online at newcar99.com, where we accept 99% of all applications. newcar99.com. If you have a job, then you qualify. Here's to you and your new car. Visit newcar99.com. newcar99.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
Free speech is protected on the internet, right? Not always. Government agencies try to limit free speech and commerce on the net. Luckily, when they do, the Institute for Justice is there to defend your First Amendment right to free speech. IJ helped set the first federal precedent for internet free speech in 1999. And ever since has worked to prevent unconstitutional roadblocks in cyberspace. Visit our website today at ij.org.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Moments remain. Enough time here. If you want to join us now, you better get on the lines at 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And you can join us on Discord. On the Discord on-air call-in lines over at discord.lrn.fm. Tonight in the studio with you, it's me, Ian.
Riley.
And Darryl.
And, of course, you can bring up whatever you want. You can join us online over at freetalklive.com. We got the AMP program. If you support what we do on Free Talk Live, then please get behind the show as an amplifier over at amp.freetalklive.com. You get some cool perks like access to the AMP-only call-in lines, the AMP-only podcast, AMP-only Facebook group. There's also AMP-only Discord rooms. So if you want to talk in a Discord room where you're only talking to other Free Talk Live supporters, because sometimes the Discord rooms have trolls, and like the normal Discord rooms, they're not necessarily a completely friendly place. But the AMP rooms are pretty friendly. So head on over to amp.freetalklive.com. You can get signed up there. You can use PayPal. You can use credit card. You can use Bitcoin, BTC. It is your choice how you want to support Free Talk Live. But it makes a difference for us because it allows us to market and advertise and promote Free Talk Live to new radio stations, to promote us online, to new internet listeners as well.
Can I just say something real quick about
Please
the AMP program? So because of the AMP program, I was able to start doing the digests for Free Talk Live.
Why is the AMP's fault, or AMP program's responsibility for that?
I actually started getting into audio production late 2015 because I was recording some bagpipe music that I was making and decided I needed to edit the file. And so I edited the file in an audio program and decided that I really like doing this. So I made some mock commercials for myself, and then wanted to expand out to doing audio production work for radio shows like Free Talk Live, and I joined the AMP program, and here I am doing digests.
Excellent. And the AMP program has helped us out marketing the show and reaching out to radio stations. In fact, we're going to be on a new station here very soon, hopefully. When do they start? Is it this
Sunday
weekend? Okay, yeah. So we'll tell you next week who that is. But it's, again, a lot of these new stations coming on board is a direct result of listeners like you supporting the show. So if you like the idea of the ideas of peace and liberty and cryptocurrency being talked about on broadcast radio, which is how Riley first found our show, and he's not the only one who found us online and then became a supporter. Please go to amp.freetalklive.com. Before we go back to your phone calls, Darryl, you had a little bit more about this 4-day work week.
Yeah, the 4-day work week that was tried at this company in New Zealand, Perpetual Guardian, and they tried it for 2 months. The CEO says he's going to recommend to the company's board that it be made permanent.
Wow.
And says he thinks it could serve as an example for other firms around the world. One employee told the CEO that he had stopped looking at his emails from his wife about an ongoing apartment search during work hours. So the employees, they still had to do the same amount of work. They only had 4 days to do it instead of 5.
I see. So that means less time to goof around on social media or the internet, because you got to get your work done. Otherwise, you'd have to come in again, right? You'd have to come in on that 5th day.
Company CEO said, "Why am I paying for days in the office instead of paying based on output?" Employees also offered other ideas for measuring their productivity, like having a little flag that they could put on their desk to indicate to coworkers they did not want to be disturbed. The article concludes the experiment is particularly significant in New Zealand, which has low productivity compared to other countries, according to the Organization for Economic and Cooperation and Development.
Let's go to your calls and thoughts. Tom's on the line in Detroit. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Tom.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Long time no talk, and I have a lot to talk about. We have a little time.
Yeah.
I'd like to bring up Mark Stevens.
Mark Stevens from Adventures in Legal Land. He is an author, wrote a great book, and I believe he's got a second book that he's come out with. I haven't yet seen that one, but he is a Saturday afternoon talk show host on LRN.FM, has been there for years, and has some controversial courtroom approaches, I guess you could say, to sort of reveal the gun in the room, to reveal the violence that backs the system. And it's an interesting approach, and it's a great book. I highly recommend it. What about Mark Stevens?
Well, first of all, the first book was interesting. The second book is very thick, but absolutely worth reading. It is called Government Indicted. The second book is way, way better. But anyway, I wanted to use our time because your hearing, Ian's hearing is one of our go-tos to watch how the government completely shuts someone down, and it was so classic. If the judge has a way out, he'll use it. And of course, I like to criticize you, of course, a little bit.
Which hearing,
guys? But your hearing,
which one? Ian has had several.
I've been to dozens of hearings, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, come on, Ian, the one where Mark was on the TV screen.
Oh, that
the
one.
Judge.
That was at the DMV. That was a DMV administrative hearing.
That was huge. That is like one of my prized and our prized possessions, if you will. You failed. I don't want to go there for right now, but Mark was on. As soon as you corner a liar, they have to either lash out, or as he did with Mark, shut him off.
Right.
And of course, and my problem right now, or I don't even want to say that, you failed it big time. And I want to ask a question. You guys are a group that have some possibility of getting something done. If you guys could concentrate a little bit more on asking these questions. We've got another group in Texas right now. One of the guys is in jail, just like you guys all went to jail. We all know that drill. And they have a handful of people, like 15, 20 people, all with cameras. They're willing to give their all, and that's what we want. And my hope is that you guys can research a little bit more and study a little bit more of the Marcratic method.
So this is pretty common where people will say they want you to do all the work for them. And what I would like to say to you is if you think you know your stuff, then you should move here and you should show everybody how it's done. We'll come in, we'll record video of you in court, and then you can prove your case. Not to say that I disagree with Mark Stevens. I think his approach is really interesting and entertaining, and it does get them to show the violence inherent in the system, but it doesn't, in my experience, get them to throw anything out. And, of course, the excuse is always going to be, oh, well, you did it wrong, which is what you're saying with me. And so ultimately, it's incumbent upon you to prove your case. So I would invite you to come to New Hampshire and prove how to do it right. I got a video camera sitting in here. It's charged up, ready to go. You just go ahead and get yourself a parking ticket. In fact, I've got one coming up here.
I don't want to shout over you. I hate to cut you off, but no, Ian, it is not about, saying that you did something wrong. It is in proving.
But that's what you said.
You did say that Ian did things wrong and that he just needs to learn those things.
Got to do more research.
Do more research and then do this again.
You know what? I got a lot of things that I can do with my day, Tom, and I just don't really feel like doing any more research into the court system. I love Mark Stevens. I think he's written a great book, and I have an appreciation for the people who try things. In fact, you can check out the Dick Marple appearance in front of a courtroom in Concord, New Hampshire. I would highly recommend you do that.
State representative.
Yeah, now I wouldn't say Dick Marple is necessarily an adherent of Mark Stevens, but he is definitely somebody who is a courtroom
theorist. They subscribe
theorist.
To some of the same legal theories.
Similar, I would say, in certain ways. But Marple actually took on a judge and, refused to cross the bar. He refused to acknowledge the jurisdiction.
That's walking past the little swingy door.
Right, he refused to acknowledge the jurisdiction of the court, and Marple's been researching this for 20 years at least. So Marple certainly knows his stuff when it comes to doing this these courtroom theories. And of course, he lost his case too. So, it's just how it goes. Sometimes they throw a case out. It doesn't necessarily mean that you've done anything that can be repeated. If you can repeat and you can, show that you can get a consistent result from these theories, then I would say you've got a real strong argument to make. But don't just sit there and say to people, oh, you need to do a better job. No, you prove your case, Tom. It's up to you.
Ian, please. Mark Stevens has hundreds of recorded dispositions and dismissals.
Awesome.
Please
That's
do
awesome.
not-
So you can come here then, and you can follow whatever this system is, and you can prove it. Or any of the adherents to a particular courtroom theory or system. Come on down to Cheshire County, New Hampshire, park downtown in Keene, walk around for a couple hours, you'll walk back, and you'll find a parking ticket on your car, and then you can challenge that, and I'll come to court. I swear to you, I will record every hearing that you have, and you can show us the way. We'll see you tomorrow, freetalklive.com. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
The Torchwood Report is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, August 10th, 2018. Silver is trading at $15.40 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,214 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $21, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,499. Antiwar.com reports with Congress flat out refusing to fund the plan in the 2019 military spending bill, the Trump administration is continuing to insist that they intend to create a new sixth branch of the military called the Space Force by 2020. Vice President Mike Pence set out on Thursday saying that it was the next great chapter in the history of our armed forces and prepare for the next battlefield of America's wars, which apparently will be in space. Pence addressed the lack of congressional approval, saying that the Space Force will not be built from scratch just yet, but rather will see an increased centralization of the existing Space Command, which is part of the Air Force, while establishing more space-centric agencies and forces to fill out what eventually will become the Space Force if and when it is approved by Congress. Trump had previously claimed Space Force would be separate but equal to the Air Force and would ensure total U.S. dominance over space into the future. He has insisted he believes space is a place where a lot of stuff is happening. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake's security company has seen better days. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. But at what cost? Will anybody care? And can anyone stop him? Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. UPI reports the average amount of individual student loan debt owned by U.S. college students increased by more than $300 in 2017, according to a study by Lend.edu. The New Jersey-based online loan marketplace's annual